apologize.
Oh, that's all right. Don't apologize, mate.
I just make sure that people post good content.
Yeah.
Oh, so how do you
Raja content is mostly educational.
Oh, we are live.
Nobody should know what I do. Shh.
We'll keep it between us.
Yeah, all right. Start from the bottom.
Data is profit. Having no
Great.
All right, so EJ really went to 119.
Yeah, EJ was rocket.
Yeah, after that Asian candle 4-hour close bullish just kept running up.
Oh yeah, that one.
Wow. So basically what's happening now, I mean daily is still bullish. Daily I think tapped into this 119, that mid 119 region. Is now pulling back. Looking at the 4-hour, it's coming down to a resistance which was at 118,650. So we're gonna yeah right here.
Morning. It's good for support.
Yeah. So there's 20 minutes left for this candle to close. This is an important zone, so I mean the logical idea would be to wait to see how this closes. If it closes bullish, then obviously no, it's forming support here.
Yeah. Because it's had such a big run down, would you be looking for like a 30-minute bullish candle?
Yeah, I would.
An hour candle, like,
Yeah, I would see that. Like maybe if the 30-minute closes bullish, then I would look left and see, okay, well this was resistance, so now it's closed bullish, it's formed support. So maybe it can start to pull up or something. But let's see how this closes.
yeah, it's always interesting to know like whether it's going to be a 30-minute or an hour or
Yes.
15 minutes. You know.
Gold, on the other hand, created resistance here.
Yeah, it's ranging.
Yeah, 1495, 1494 is resistance on the 1 hour, and then you got this. Actually, let's just remove everything here. Let's go to the daily. Alright, so daily is still respecting that 1495 resistance. Go to the 4-hour. Got the same situation. So where it's turning. Then you got support down here. I think essentially I'd be looking for a short below 1489 to go down to 1484 and then eventually break that low at 1485. This is a strong zone it broke. It's kind of like retesting and then kind of like ranging at that area. $118.95. What? Someone's in a sell since $118.95 on GJ.
What?
Yeah.
In the sales or the buys?
Yeah, I think this guy needs to go wash his face. Oh, he just said EJ. Okay. I was confused. I'm like, GJ is not at 113. Okay, bullish channel. My bias for this pair is bullish. Would like to see a break and retest of 133,300. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. This makes sense. Hey, morning. Because it's ranging.
Yes, it's ranging.
Can't hear you.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I was saying that it reached that resistance at 133,300 or 400 range, but I would like to see a break of that range because right now it's ranging. But overall, it's bullish.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
How you doing, Tashan?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
What up? What up?
Wait, is that Raja Banks or is that rakeel?
That is Raja. I'm using Rakeel's account, yeah.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, so far, I mean, I don't know. Waiting on EJ, GJ is ranging, gold's in a predicament. I think if gold is moving, it's so hard. I mean, I don't know.
Is anyone looking at USD cut?
No, I don't trade USD CAD.
No.
I don't trade USD CAD.
Gold dailies break and retest.
Let's take a look at Jan. If you can send a chart of what you see on USD CAD, that'll be great.
I entered the buy stop yesterday on the Asian at 1489 on gold because I saw a technical support area from the last low around 1495. So I am long since last night.
On gold,
Yeah.
I think
I think gold short.
because 1495 was a very, very strong support, right?
Yeah.
And then the daily candle broke it. And now this current daily candle, it's kind of coming up to retest it to go short.
Yeah.
I think
what will happen, it will play around just underneath it and consolidate, and then it will break out.
I think your buys would be better if you wait for a 4-hour candle to close above 1495.
I'm already in from 1489.5. I have a buy stop, so I'm just gonna close my position.
Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I came to a chart, I saw EJ, and I saw EJ went up overnight, and then it came down. So I'm like, okay, well, there's no trade on EJ. There's literally, I don't see any trade on EJ. Even if I do, it's this move that I tell myself, oh yeah, I've missed it. Let's take a look here.
What it doesn't have on Forex Factory is that there's a rate decision for CAD.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
It's a bit weird.
Interest rates?
Yeah, like a rates.
No, I don't know, because it's not here.
It doesn't have it there, but it has it on my. See, I use another one that's got another market calendar.
It's probably next month.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's probably next month. 100%.
What do you mean by next month?
The interest rates are next month.
Yeah, I'll send this.
Alright. Oh, they're cutting the rates again. The US. September 18th. They're trying to cut the rates again. Wow, from 2.5 down to 2.25 and now down to 2.
Jeez.
DJ getting ready for the next big move.
Is it possible to paste or attach a photo in here?
Alright, what's this? USD waiting for a break of the support down to my target. Yeah, makes sense. It's ranging now and you want to break below the support.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that makes sense. Like it's just kind of ranging, just gotta wait. Can you give me some feedback on this trade? I thought it looked good at the time, but entry not so much now. Chanel, take an entry in the close of the bullish confirmation candle. Chanel, I think you took entry at resistance. Because if you look, this is resistance. This was your entry. So this take profit doesn't make any sense because this take profit is above this resistance. So price will not go to that take profit unless it breaks this resistance. So I think you need for it to break this resistance here first. Plus, Chanel, I think we have to do some things first before, you know. Daily on UJ is at a resistance level 107.840. What I'm thinking is if it, yeah, I'm just very confused with the charts today. If UJ does fall, there's a wick right here. It might come down to here. All right, it's my first time here. Let's see how y'all get down. That's from South Carolina. I'm from South Carolina. Ooh, he just dropping.
Oh, again? You're kidding.
Wow. How far can Egypt drop?
Oh, you reckon 118.27? That wick?
Yeah, but that's gonna be a big drop.
50 pips move.
Yeah, there's no market structure in EJ as of right now. It's dropping. I mean, the thing is, it's dropping now, but it's coming also down to this area here. If you look left, this area, this whole consolidation area here.
Too much traffic.
Yeah, it's coming down in this area. So now I just gotta wait, because now once it's dropping, I see this, I was like, yeah, I've missed this move 100%. And as it comes down to, you know, below 118.550 and 118.400, that's the area where the 1 hour candles have consolidated before, so you can expect it to come down here and start consolidating.
Sort of range, probably for, how long did that range for?
Yeah.
That was only a couple of days there. Okay.
I have spent thousands on mentors. First community. Yeah, I mean, man. I had this one person, he said he has spent around 26,000 on education. I'm like, wow, you are doing good if you had that much to spend on education.
But you know what? It gets to a point where I think people just spend to make them think that they're learning something.
Yeah, I think so. Because they're like, okay, yeah, this one is nice. This next one is nice. Maybe this next one.
Yeah. I can't believe how much this is dropping.
Oh, wow.
It'll probably go all the way down by the end of today.
This is its last frontier. 118. Because this is where the 1 hour candles have formed support on the 9th. This is where they formed support again yesterday during New York and London close. And now it's coming into that area again.
Well, if we're going to drop below that, it's still a little bit of a consolidation again.
Buy stop at 14.95. 14.95. This is the 1 hour. Yeah, it makes sense. 14.95 buy stop. Someone sent the chart. We're gonna have a guest on here today.
Ooh, who?
Yeah. We're gonna have a guest on here today. Let's see how that goes.
Okay, did you caught that EJ going down?
Nope.
EJ went down to 550.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Yo, Alex, hearing some of profits, bro. Nice decaf.
Yeah, right. It didn't go as planned, guys, but I'm still in.
You'd already dropped like 20 pips from your initial.
Yes. Entry.
Nice, bro. Nice trade.
Thank you, bro.
So, Alex, do you just trade GCAT?
Yes.
Nice, bro.
Yeah, Trump is looking
I don't want to
to.
lie. I trade UCAT too, but UCAT's been like
Looking
ugly
to-
too recently, you know?
Yes, it's been ranging too much.
What you doing, Rakeel? What you looking at?
Nothing. I don't like anything.
Really?
All right. good
Nothing.
job.
I just don't feel like I should put any trade in the market
Today?
today. I just don't like anything at all because EJ is dropping and GJ is in this wicking area and
Hey man, I caught the EJ though.
yeah, nice. Gold is ranging. UJ is. I just fuck this.
Man, EJ took a dump, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was all the way up to 119. Now it's like 118.
UJ sell. Waiting for a close under 107,700. Yeah, I was looking at the same thing too. UJ sells. I was actually about to take sells, but then the only thing that stopped me personally, was this wick over here, and then this support here, and then this support here, and I mean, there's so much things in the way. I mean, you had this support, and you got this support here, and then you got this bullshit candles over here. So I just don't like anything this morning. Like yesterday was easy, you know, just got a gold sell stop. We knew gold's gonna drop, sell stops, boom, done. Now it's just kind of rangy. Ooh, I see Nick over here. Hey, Nick.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. It's another day.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I was just telling the guys how we're having a guest here today.
Oh boy, who's that?
Oh.
Oh, you know. So I'm just I've been in the room for about 10 minutes or so, just kind of watching what you're doing and enjoying it.
Nice.
I'm looking at pairs that I don't even think existed for the last 10 years.
Oh, really?
I've been trading euro and sterling, and once in a while I'll trade Swissy for its correlation, but I basically trade 3 pair and then look at a couple of others, but that's about it.
Yeah. Has there been times when you've looked at the pairs you watch and you're like, yeah, there's no trades on these today?
Yeah, it's, it comes down to kind of the bread and butter of, hey, this is noise, leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Come back the next day, but then you get into that sync of, exactly where you're going to pull those triggers and where you're going to collect the pips. You can see how it's reacting and what the next few candles are going to do.
Yeah, that's true. Like it becomes like an intuition.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys were talking about EJ. That's not gonna stop this drop until it gets to the 25, 26 number.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. Then
Yeah, EJ's just tearing down.
Yeah.
Are you the special guest, Nick?
I think so.
Yes. So Nick runs a.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks.
Firm, is it? Like, we call it a prop firm, is it, or?
I do a few different things, but I'll give you a little bit of a background. I've been trading. This is my 31st year trading.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
27 of them professionally. The first few were hit and miss, couple of big scores on some lumber options, and then giving half of that back. But that's what gave me the bug. So I've been around for a few decades, and my focus is volume analysis. And as a high frequency trader, oh gosh, going on 24 years ago, I built an aggregation of limit order books on the institutional level, and that's what gave me a pretty good insight into what volume does on all the way down to the 1 minute and even on a 5-second increment. So kind of have a comfortable grasp on what global volume is doing, in where foreign exchange doesn't typically have volume analysis. We've scrubbed the limit order books and got something that tells us where the prices are going on the fly without any historical lag of analysis. So that's where I've been. I run a prop fund. I teach extensively when somebody needs it, and I run a brokerage firm as well.
Yeah.
But it's all to just kind of keep me busy these days, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. So, like, how's like retail trading changed over the years? Like since you've been in business.
Oh, geez.
I think massively.
I started trading when we were using, just the phones. So, and spot FX. I mean, it really didn't start. It really didn't open up for kind of the retail sector until about 1995, 1996. God, that makes me sound old. And I'm not that old. I just started when I was really young.
Yeah.
But spot, when I started trading, I would even if I was in the car, I have this massive telephone, this bag phone in my car, and it'd take forever, but all the trades would be placed with FCMs, with the futures merchants who would derive a spot market by extracting the carry charge. And that's a pretty close, connection to spot market, but retail market really wasn't open. And then my first trading account was with CMC Markets, which was the first first FX brokerage to go online. literally with trades as well, because everything before that was all, just telephone, and every trade you made had to be, audio recorded, in order to document what you were doing with the brokers. But it was the Wild West. But I mean, it's changed a lot. I think the last 8 to 10 years, retail traders have kind of evolved, in a natural progression of analysis, with machine learning and those types of programs and levels of assistance. It's gotten a little bit better for the retail level of trader.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Well, you talked about like volume profiles. You think that's directly correlated with the time of the market we're in? Like, let's say these sessions opens and like when there are like news events close by and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, what in building, and I don't really define it as like a volume profile, but there is a pattern. There's a clear pattern, and we know, based upon transactional, data, we know that during every given hour there is a distribution, and we know that during 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Eastern time, every single day, that there's about 9.5% of global volume that transacts in that hour. And then between 10 a.m. and 11, it goes up to 17%. Yes, so we know what those volumes are, and they absolutely, kind of parallel the clock as the world turns. But there are certain patterns around 8 a.m. Eastern, 8:05 a.m. Eastern, where we start to see some influxes in volume, and you get a pickup in pace. So there's patterns like that. But from day to day, the volumes don't change much on their distribution. I mean, within 0.5%. So we might have 17%, 16.5, 17.5. So volume doesn't change much. It's because, and that's because the patterns of what somebody's activity is. I guess a good example is a trader in New York, where we get that 8 a.m. influx. The trader in New York is going to sit down and pull the trigger the first couple of times right at 8:03, 8:05, and that's the majority of it. But there's some good data with volume, as long as you kind of scrub the irrelevant stuff from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've also seen like the same, like obviously like you go in much more detail, but like as we've been doing these live streams since last year, August, and it's only been mainly the New York sessions, and we've seen that there has been like a lot of like, high volumes at like around 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 9:30, then close to London close at around 10:45, 11 a.m. So I think it's just a fact, like if you're really gonna come into trading, you need to understand like at what times there's going to be some volume here in the market. Because I mean, if there's volume, then you can trade. If there's no volume, then it's going to be stuck in the ranges, right?
Well, I guess it just depends on how you're determining, that there's volume. I mean, stronger moves, can be, and most of the time, the larger moves are a lack of volume. It's just buyers or sellers walking away from the market, and the market moving strong in one direction just because there's nobody to, give any support or resistance. But in terms of a more macro event, then you'll see large influxes of volume that also make the market move. So when you're looking at a large move, it could be a lack of volume or a strong influx of volume, depending on what's going on for that day. Is it really a macro event, or is it more indecisiveness or liquidity, not committing to it, and therefore the volume gets a little thin?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's your I heard you say you're not really committed to making a trade today. What do you typically look for? What pairs are you looking at typically?
Typically, my go-to pairs are maybe like GJ, Euro JPY, and gold, right?
Okay.
But I came to the charts. Euro JPY already had a big move, so now I was just looking at the 4-hour. 4-hour had resistance at 118.650, and it kind of like we were hoping for this candle to bounce, but it broke below it. So essentially now might be looking for like a retest of this broken support and resistance now.
Okay.
But obviously now just gotta wait.
I would say that you could be you're going into a range bound move.
Yeah.
And I'd say that if you zoom out of the chart and give us a little more of a view here, I'll tell you why. Okay? So in that trend, can you show more of the bottom that's down off to the left there?
Oh, you want to see more?
Yeah, a little bit more. All right. Every trend has a termination, and you'll notice, where the pullbacks on the trends, when a pullback, and I'll try and make this as sweet or short and sweet as possible without going into too much. Every trend has pullbacks, and the first pullback is going to kind of give you a nominal measure or a value or a magnitude. The second pullback is typically going to do about the same thing, okay? And the third pullback in magnitude will do about the same thing as well. It's when you see a pullback that has extended itself beyond the magnitude of any of those other pullbacks, you've automatically gone into a range-bound move. And you don't want to trade until it breaks out of that range. So right now here on EJ, it's going to test probably that 29 level, maybe. And I typically focus on the 1 minute chart, so the 1 hour is a little bit different for me. So it's going to pull back into that range. It'll find a little level of support, and then it may bounce back up to that wherever that was at the 22 level, 24 level. But it's this pullback that has exceeded, or magnitude of this pullback that has exceeded any of those other pullbacks prior. So foreign exchange trades in ranges, and when it breaks out of the ranges, it goes to a new price level. This is that first range. Okay. So if you look at that pullback, or this pullback that we're on here from wherever that 119.20 level is to here, that's larger than any of the other pullbacks in that entire trend.
Nick, I think you can also annotate here on the chart too. Like if you click on options and then then you can see annotate.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me see here.
Should be on the top of the screen.
Top right.
Nice. It's got like view options, yeah.
View options.
How old is Nick? I think Nick is
48.
Oh, 48. I was just being nice.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I don't see it. Might be top left, top right.
Can you see you are viewing Rakeel Zahur's screen? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next to that it has options online.
I see templates in here.
It's gonna say annotate. Click on options.
Oh. You know what? I'm an idiot, because I use Zoom rooms too, but I don't ever go into those details. Annotate.
Oh, that's good. No, that's all right.
Let me grab my pen. All right, so the pullback from here, and we give this a magnitude, right? Well, it's certainly larger than this. It's certainly larger than this. You got a little, I would call this wick a little bit of noise. Certainly it's got resistance there. There's no question about that. But there's less movement there. There's less magnitude from this level to this level. And then anything down below on this entire trend moving higher, this magnitude is larger. So this is clear volume coming into the market, and it's giving that. It's not just giving resistance; it's giving a rebalancing of buyers and sellers. So what happens with foreign exchange? How do we clear that? There we go. So what happens with foreign exchange is it goes into ranges, and then it breaks outside of this range, and it goes into a new level and starts to bounce in a range. And then it goes to a new level, and it bounces around in the range again. And that's exactly what's happening here. This will show a little bit of resistance somewhere around here, and then the candles will continue lower, et cetera, and that pattern will repeat until the market changes direction again, and we'll probably do so somewhere over here.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when you're looking at now, like, let's say if price is going to retrace and maybe form some sort of a resistance, what do you basically look at when a resistance is formed? So
yeah, I'm looking at the 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the 1 minute because it has to, the 1 minute is by far more accurate for the higher frequency traders, but the 1 minute tells us where that influx of volume is starting to put some pressure on it. And as long as, here we're looking at a 60-minute or 1 hour, as long as it hasn't broken structure and we see that 1 minute start to turn back to the downside, that's going to give some pressure back to that downside where any level of support. And now if we went to any one of these charts, can you go back? Let's see. All right, so what'd you do? You dropped down to the 15-minute. Okay,
I'm at 30 now. 30.
Okay, so you've got, and I'll just start scratching here. Okay, you've got a little bit of resistance there. Very patternized, and that's where it's showing. So you almost have an equidistant level of resistance as it comes lower. It's a pattern. It's a heartbeat. It's an EKG, if you will, if you've ever been to the hospital and watched somebody, on a monitor. It's exactly what the market's giving you. It'll find that level of resistance, and as long as the structure's not breaking, then I look at the 1 minute and I see it turn to the downside, and that's going to show where that resistance starts to push it back lower.
Yeah, see, that's okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, see, that's an interesting point, because like as you're waiting for the 1 minute, on the same time, what I would be basically waiting for is, now let's say if this is a 30-minute, right? I'd basically be looking for a 30-minute candle to close bearish, and that's going to give me confirmation to enter, because like if this candle closes bullish and the next one goes bullish and the next one goes bearish, then I know that okay, now resistances has been formed, just like you mentioned, here, and then somewhere if we have a resistance formed here because the 30-minute candle closed bearish, that would give me an indication that okay, now I can probably have my stop above the candle and hope for the next one to continue down. But then obviously when you're going to look at the 1 minute, that's going to be a nice bearish structure trying to break down.
Yeah, I mean, I step away. Some of those, a couple of things in there have got some, very traditional components. I kind of step away from the traditional form of analysis.
Okay.
I look for the very short term. If I'm going to trade for 5 minutes, I've spent an entire day on it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's because I don't typically look for a 20 pip move or a 30 pip move. I'm looking for very repetitious, 2 pip moves, 3 pip moves.
Oh, okay.
So let me see. How can I post a screenshot? Can I do that in here?
Is it on TradingView or is it on your own platform?
Yeah, just off of even just MetaTrader.
Yeah, I think you need to upload it to Imgur or If you want to share your screen, you can share your screen. We can get that done.
I can do that. You want me to do that in Zoom?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll do that in Zoom and then I'll project it on YouTube.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
Okay, so it's a little bit reverse for me because I'm typically on the other end of Zoom here.
Tables have turned today.
It's confusing, man.
Yeah.
It's confusing. All right, so
Nick, you mentioned you look for 2-pip moves. So does that mean that you're constantly in and out of the market? In your typical trading day, you take what, tens of trades, hundreds of trades?
In the typical hour, I'll trade 80, 90, maybe 120 trades. But I'll break it down. So okay, I'll share the screen. Now.
There's going to be a lot of questions incoming for algos here.
Yeah, if I only remembered how to use Zoom from yesterday.
Wow.
All right, so here's the different forms of analysis. My screen should be up now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
So here's Euro Yen. All right. So here's that entire trend that I was talking about. And I'm just going to use a rectangle to kind of give us some magnitude here. Here's that measure of magnitude on this pullback. It's defeated all of these pullbacks. So we're going into a range-bound move. Here's a clear level of support, and that's what this horizontal line is. And those horizontal lines are all over the place, and they'll start here, and then there's another one here for resistance, and that's broken. You can see everything going there. Down below is that volume analysis. So we're not using volume profiles, but we're using volume and analyzing the candles on the fly and understanding where the limit order books are going. It tells us where that volume has turned to the downside. So change my pen color.
Aren't they just pivots, Nick?
What's that?
Aren't they pivots?
No. So it's a combination. I mean, what most people would look at in terms of volume, right? You have a ladder on a limit order book that gives you a price level and a corresponding volume. And then on the opposite side, you've got supporting bids on the limit order books. This is EBS, Reuters, CurrentX, Bloomberg, you name it. Not just a broker connection. But in those books, you get a lot of noise. The effective range of understanding what volume is doing is in what we call that bid-ask bounce. That bid-ask bounce is 33, 34, 34 and a half, back to the 33, where it's just bouncing, and that's all it's doing. But that bid-ask bounce happens on this move lower as well, right? So the bid-ask bounce has a direction. So where you ask if it's just a pivot, no, it's the combination of volume analysis and the core of price action being the candles. So when we understand what volume is doing, and this is on a longer time frame, we have a high price point, but that high price point is only recognized when volume has left that high price point behind. Right? So you've got a high price point, which could very well be the pivot, but it's only a pivot or it's only a high if volume has turned and started to push back to the downside. Right? So it's a combination here of that volume and price movement is correlated by volume, or volume and price are correlated together better than 97.5%. There's only some noisy areas where it doesn't move in tandem.
Okay.
All right, so let's go back to, here's what I'm looking at. Let's go back to Sterling. It's got a little little less noise the last few cycles. So here's that volume analysis, and this is on a 1 minute chart. Here's that volume analysis. The teal blue line is the volume, whereas the yellow line is that trader aggression. Is it being sold off or is it being bought? And right now it's being sold off. And I can see that because we've got this little bit of movement here. Everything in the history doesn't really matter. It's this aggression beneath this point or above this point. Everything is off that hard right edge of the chart. Right? History doesn't matter. It's where is it going right now? So we're looking for that trader aggression to align with that bigger picture move. So if this was EJ and we saw, you know, the 1 hour still dropping, I'm going to look for something to carry it a little bit lower. Let me see if I can do it this way.
If history don't matter, why do you take into consideration a bigger pullback than the previous?
But that's just a price pattern. Pullbacks are a price pattern. So even though you've got a price pattern, you've got to take into consideration that bigger structure of where volume left behind those turning points, right? So here is here we go. Here's EJ on the 1 minute.
Okay.
So here we go. So you've got the turn to the downside here. This started this turn right there and probably from there, you've got, let's remember this. Pullback, smaller pullback, pullback within range, almost exactly the same size, still coming to the downside. You know, the only thing that's going to give it support here, or could give it support, is down here at this. Maybe again, if it doesn't break this 50, because we're going into even a little bit of, you know, range bound move at the moment. The pressure's to the downside. If we had seen volume break anything significantly higher over here and we didn't, all of the weight is this downside movement. So anything below this zero line is all that downside pressure, downside pressure, downside pressure, downside pressure.
So if you're trying to sell in this downside pressure, how would you calculate your stop loss?
Stop loss. Okay, so you go back to, or take a segue for a second. How do prices change direction? And prices can only change direction two different ways. But how, you know, for a trade or trading approach, you know, we want to recognize how that direction shifts, and then recognize where it shifts, right? So if I go into this, here we go. So price action. Prices can only change directions two different ways. They'll do this and then shift right here. It's a break in action, right? Or it'll do this and it'll be whippy. Okay. This is 88% of the time. Okay. This is about 12% of the time, somewhere around there. Okay. So we want to align ourselves with that consistent change in direction. Right? So this happens on the long time frame as well as the short time frame. So here you have, in this bounce higher, remember we're looking at the 1 hour and looking for an expected continuation of that move. Well, then I want to take into consideration that bid-ask bounce, right? Where I said 33, and I'm just using numbers as an example, 34, 34 and a, 33 and a half, 35 and a half, and it's just bouncing as it's moving. Well, then that bid-ask bounce breaks in direction, not just in price, but also with what I call tick frequency. And that's that trader aggression. So we have to recognize how traders are aggressively starting to push prices lower, and does that legitimately break that direction to the downside? So remember what I said over here about prices changing direction. Well, it happens on volume as well, because volume and price are correlated by 97%. So this becomes a sell, right? So then you've got this as a sell-off, right? If that's the sell-off, the reversal point is somewhere right there. So stop losses are a few pips away, 4 or 5 pips away on average, right? Depending on what pair and how much noise there is for the day. So it's usually a pretty tight stop, right? So then this price moves back to the downside. It doesn't break any structure against this move. And right now, tick frequency is still pushing us to the downside. So this should come back down to maybe that 50 level, 48 level, and start pushing itself a little bit lower, right? So it's a combination, you know, looking at, and I use this term pretty lightly, generalized analysis versus, you know, kind of the structural required components of how are we going to get prices to change? How do we recognize with some precision on how those prices change? And where do we see, you know, where do we see those turns before the turns actually occur? Because every time that we see a turn, there's a change in volume. Right? And we want to know where those changes in volume are going to occur, or likely going to occur, before they actually happen, because that aligns us with that next move.
Okay, you see how you've got your tick analysis and your volume, you saying it's still to the downside?
Yes.
If that's the case, why don't you hold more than 3 pips?
Okay, so you've got to turn to the downside, right?
Yeah.
Every candle is going to give you what I call active analysis, right? And I'm not trading this at the moment, and most of my trades are 2 to 3 pips, you know, maybe 4 pips, 5 pips, but I'm using active analysis to stay in that trade from moment one.
Yeah.
From moment one. Okay? As long as the structure doesn't change, active analysis will allow me to look at this candle, stay short. Look at this candle, stay short. Look at this candle, stay short.
So it's a candle-to-candle basis.
It's candle-to-candle. It's dynamic too. No matter how far that market moves,
yeah,
it's going to continue. So you look at this as an example here. You know, and probably not a good example because it's kind of ideal. This move to the downside has probably got somewhere around 88 to 94%. You know, what I would call quality. Right? So the analysis in there is pretty strong in that none of these candles, with the exception of this, none of these candles break opposite that candle direction. There's only one. There's only one that's got a little bit of a wick higher than the prior candle high. Everything else is all to the downside. So if there's 15 candles in there and only one of them is breaking opposite direction, but none of that breaks any volume in the opposite direction, it tells us to stay in the move until volume and price are both giving us a change in direction, which happens right in here and then right in here. And they happen independent of one another. So we've got change in volume right there, and then finally a change in price right there.
Nice. It's really interesting to see how high frequency trading thinking works.
So yeah, it's you know, I guess it's less of a quantitative and more of a qualitative analysis. Qualitative, looking for the quality of those moves. One thing that's fun. I'll take 5 more minutes and I'll go back into listening to you guys. Let's go back to another chart here. I'll show you something fun. All right. So volume and price correlated. Let me go back here. Oh wait, let's do this. This is fun. Let's get rid of the candles. Okay, now we go back into history and then plot out the changes in direction. Let me get rid of some of these objects here first. Get rid of everything. So now we've got a clean chart. So go in and talk about how prices move, or how price action, you know, conforms to what volume is doing. Go back to it's kind of random here. As long as it's not moving on me, good. And go back to active session, and this is pretty good here.
So yeah, Nick, at the same time, like, you know, if you can quickly run over this, you can also maybe go over what you actually do and, like, you know, where people can find you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm a guy, you know, so I can only do one thing at a time in my brain. So, all right. So we'll start right here. But what I'm looking for is that correlated break in price action. In this case, I'm looking at volume, right? And if I see a shift in direction, I'm going to use that as a change in direction. And if it moves back to the upside and starts to give me a shift in direction again, I'll use that as a change in direction. So volume and price are correlated by 97.25%. So I'm going to use that as kind of a confidence builder. And I'm going to put a mark right here. Here's a shift in direction back to the upside. We got one back to the downside here. It goes back to the upside over here. And then we've got this, and it turns back to the downside here. Probably a little bit of movement higher again there, and then back to the downside, back to the upside. And I'm doing this pretty quickly. We've got a series of lows that are all sequentially higher until we get to here. Right? Then we've got a series of highs that are sequentially lower until we get to about here. Right? So really quickly, I'm going to take some vertical lines and put those on the chart. The blue lines will be the upside moves. And then the red lines will be the downside moves. Go back to reset the chart. And there you've got all the terms. So without looking at the candles, we saw a little bit of a bullish move here. There you go. A bearish move there. There you go. Back to a bullish move there. There you go. Back to a bearish move there. All right. Here's a failure. Here's a failure. Remember I said, all right, if this is the buy, your stop is somewhere over here, because that's the change in direction. When a price fails, as soon as it changes direction, it's going to get an influx in volume, and it moves back to the downside. Okay. Right? So you've got this, and you've got over here. Well, here's that low. Volume's pushing higher. Here's that immediate low, so your stop is somewhere over here. But your stop needs to be confirmed with volume. If it decides to go against you, it needs to be confirmed with volume. And there's no confirmation of anything in volume that's going lower. In fact, it's all working its way higher over through here. So you see a little bit of exposure, maybe a couple of pips. It's not that painful, and moves back to the upside. It then turns back to the downside again. Right? So that's a pretty good example of what volume analysis does. You know, a retail trader can do 1,000 times better if they're able to disconnect from, you know, the generalized analysis and look at something a little bit more fine-tuned, if you will, in order to find that next move. You know, and I'm not sure who it was. Well, I don't know everybody's name yet, but you know, asking about that active analysis. Once you see the trigger, the price is going to continue until it changes direction, and it can only change direction if it's got a volume shift as well.
And that volume shift can be increased or decreased.
It's dynamic. Yep.
Yep. Cool.
It's dynamic to whatever the market conditions are.
Mm.
That's it.
Nice.
Cool.
Perfect.
That's it. Nice.
Very nice.
Let's see what else is here. Sterling's a little bit of.
I wanted to ask you, what's that indicator that you were just showing us?
This is Flow Trader on the bottom side of the chart. It's Flow Trader. Flow Trader is that net result of aggregation, global aggregation on all the institutional ECNs, and then the measure of what traders are doing in levels of aggression, and then in the upper chart window, it's Cycle Trader, which measures what market cycles are doing.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. All right. Go ahead. Let me stop my screen share, and we'll go back to being an observer because it's different for me.
Yeah, let me help you with that here.
Yeah. Oh wait, there's stop share. Aha. All right. So I got your screen back.
There you go. Yeah, so Nick runs a like a brokerage and like it's a firm. Is that what you call it? Like firm?
A prop firm.
A prop firm.
So when I teach somebody how to trade, you know, if they're able to adapt, you know, and it doesn't have to be my strategies or anything I teach. Is if somebody's able to show a profit, then I put some capital behind them, you know, monitor risk and adjust their risk levels while they trade, and you know, pay them a percentage for the trading. All of it can be found at clearstreamfx.com.
Clearstreamfx.com. Let me just put this up here.
Sure.
How could we use a volume to our advantage if you don't use it?
Okay, so ask that again.
Like,
how can
see? Do you get how we trade? Like
yes.
without all that?
Yeah, I do, and it's difficult.
I think it's all based on personal preference.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think
like
if you can.
Screen was like watching the Matrix with all those green lines, but it works for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, so you know, there's a couple of core, and anybody who wants to whatever register and go through. There's a price action course, which is there's about 12 hours in the price action course. You know, the price action course kind of teaches the core of basically everything we just did without volume, in terms of how the prices change direction, what those statistics are on those changes in direction, and you know, how do you find profit with, you know, whatever time frame you're trading on. So it's independent of what the volume analysis, you know, gives. You know, having the volume analysis takes that accuracy up to some new levels, and it just provides so much more transparency. Where we might see a candle that is pushing higher or pushing lower, volume analysis will tell us whether it's really pushing lower or we should filter it out. Sure.
Yeah.
So when you have corrections, are you looking for
Rakeel, you got out of gold?
Yeah, we can't really hear anyone who's talking.
Okay.
No idea what he's saying.
Hold on.
Okay. But quite honestly, when people... Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the question I want to ask is, when you see corrections in the trade, are you looking for the equal corrections in magnitude in terms of corrections in price to continue back and say that would look like a one-to-one correction?
No, so the movements or the entire trend is going to have a series of corrections on it. The first one, the first pullback, you're going to have a little bit of risk because you don't know whether it's a pullback or whether it's just a complete correction. So after it gives you a magnitude of a pullback, that pullback will typically remain in terms of the magnitude, right? The magnitude will remain for the entire trend. So in other words, every pullback after that, whether if the first one's 15 pips, the second one should not be larger than 15 pips. And if it is larger than 15 pips, that's going to give you a range that you want to stay away from. Okay, so and that's something that you can look at any chart at just about any time. Thanks for posting the site. I was completely incapable using Zoom from the other side. So you can look at any chart and you can see those pullbacks at the top or at the bottom of a trend, and it's very rarely a complete change in direction. It's always a pullback and a test at another level. A pullback and a test at another level. Sure. Gold. I'll bring up the gold chart. Let me see what it's got.
Thank you, Nick.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick.
Yep, sure.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
Thanks for your time, Nick.
No problem.
Thank you, Nick.
Sure.
Hey, Nick, a quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
How do you manage the spreads and commissions and stuff on, if you're going for 2 or 3 pips? Are you using an API or something that's keeping spreads and commissions that much lower, or how do you manage that?
Well, spreads and commissions. This is a good conversation. I'll try and keep it short. When I built and started putting together the liquidity side of the brokerage, I was really pretty critical. Having traded institutionally for so long, I know where the real market is. And the real market's maybe 1/10 of a pip wide, 2/10 of a pip wide, and that's kind of where the focus has been for Clearstream. In terms of commissions, and this is a conversation that I had with FXCM several years before they were booted from the U.S. They had called me and asked if I could bring some business to them, bring my own business to them. And I said, well, what are the rates and what kind of access are you giving me? And is it direct market access or is it just kind of quasi access into their own book and their own liquidity? And their answer is, well, we'll give you commissions at $6, maybe $7 per million. Right? So wholesale commissions worldwide, for brokers are somewhere between $6 and about $12 to maybe $15 per million. So again, in putting Clearstream together, I was really kind of focusing on, giving wholesale access to traders who would typically be paying $5, $6, maybe $7 in commission, which to me is absurd. So it doesn't necessarily need an API, to get good pricing. It's just you got to make sure that whoever's on the other end of your trades, whether it's an A book, broker or a B book broker, whether they're giving you true access or whether they're just, taking the other side of the trade. So it depends on the situation, but it doesn't necessarily need an API to get those spreads and commissions lower.
So Nick, Ted over here, I own my own brokerage, so I'm in the same level you are. Don't you find though, as if from a broker standpoint, like why are we cutting our nose to spite our face, right? Because I know exactly what you're talking about, because when you're working with a prime bank, the prime bank intraday spreads are like, like the spread on like Euro USD is like nothing. It's like a negative spread. Right. The thing was, I looked at that too, because obviously I'm a trader as well, and I just went with the status quo. What was your reasoning behind sort of giving everybody a better look, so to speak, in terms of profit margin? Because I mean, I can, technically speaking, you can drop commissions all the way down to like, $1 almost. Your flow, you're paying per million, but then even once you get into like 1 yard or 2 yards, you can still negotiate a better flow rate. You can probably get it down to, like, I was getting quotes at like $3 a million, basically.
And that's kind of where I started with that. But Ted, if we and we don't want to do that because they're customers. But if we for a moment in our conversation now, if we ignore kind of the customer base that's listening, the increase on performance is 10 to 1 better when you give them transparency and when you give them effective pricing. So what's been typical, and I've seen this for a couple dozen years now, is when the traders got, better pricing and better commissions, and you're narrowing it down, the return for the brokerage goes 10 to 1. If they're able to trade more confidently and and actively.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I've tried to keep spreads as low as I can. Like we basically have raw spreads with our ECN. We work with several prime banks. My hedge fund works in the prime of prime space.
Sure.
I always thought, because I looked at certain competitive, like the competitive nature of the brokerage business, and it was more of like, for me, I wasn't gonna rock the boat, so to speak. Like if everyone's charging $7 a lot, I'm good with that too. Like I'm not gonna charge $5 and be like, well, why are you able to charge less, right? I just figured, hey, if everyone's paying that, that's what they're comfortable with. But I do see the correlation. I mean, from a hedge fund perspective, like when we trade on the hedge fund, we have such tight spreads, and basically we're paying for our flow. Yeah, our overall profitability is 100% better. But I guess from a retail space, I mean, people haven't barked enough to say, hey, why are these spreads so high, or why are these commissions so high? The largest brokers right now in this space are charging what we're charging. So it's like, well, if they can get away with it, why can't I?
Yeah, and it's just, I guess, I guess I sense and we both experience it. Yeah, I guess I sense and feel the pain, a little bit more trading on the higher frequency and
Right.
not wanting to fork out 10 times the commission that I should be.
Well, that's exactly it. It's the same thing with our hedge fund. We run out for the trading on our hedge fund, and we do HFT, and we've basically given ourselves the prime of prime setup so that we have the tightest spreads, and you can then scalp on the 1 minute frames. The other thing is too, depending on where you're getting your flow from a retail side, you're not even allowed to use HFT because of the fact that you're now messing with the balance sheet of the bank, and they can't hedge your risk.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess it. I mean, everybody's got a different take. My take is just to, keep that transparency there, keep that effective access.
100% correct. Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah.
No, it's a great conversation because, like I said, I've never really been able to talk to another owner and discuss at that level, because I've always said the same thing: is as you move upstream and you move from sort of your retail liquidity into your prime and then your prime of prime, you start to see, when you first start the business or you're a retail trader, you start to look and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, these guys are making billions. Right? You look at it, and when you get to the top and you speak, like I speak with prime of prime banks, and I speak with their their risk department, and also sort of their sales in terms of giving us liquidity, and they're laughing because they don't care what the volume is of people trade and how frequent they trade and what they do. They don't care, because all they're doing is they're marking that and they're basically hedging it, and they're sending the orders out to other banks or other institutions that are looking for that order. And because everyone has a different level of risk tolerance and everyone has a different strategy, so they can mark orders all day and they can send it out to different institutions, and then they hedge that risk at that point.
Sure. Yeah. It's just liquidity is a little bit of a significant misnomer for most people. In terms of volume, in terms of what's taking place on the back end, from the industry architecture.
Well, the other thing is too, what I've noticed is people that are failing in the retail brokerage space, what they do is they move upstream and become liquidity providers. So all they've done is they've used their connections in the prime space and said, hey, I'm going to mark up this flow like $1 or $2 per million, and then I'll offer it out. And there's basically no risk to them at all at that point. And they're just basically brokering flow. And then as you start to go upstream, because they assume that the average person's stupid and they don't know who to talk to when it comes to getting flow, and it comes to actually speaking to institutions and speaking to their departments that actually issue sort of your price quotes and their book of business, so to speak.
I think it'll evolve, and that's kind of, I think, the last dozen years when we got into the room today, I think the last dozen years or so, we've seen a pretty good evolvement of, retail trader, and, the development of direct market access has been a significant push to that, and eventually it'll have to go that way, and then the commissions fall off the edge of the cliff, and then brokers will tend to struggle for finding a customer that doesn't know.
Well, and that's what I've said from day one, is when I opened my brokerage almost 2 years ago, I said the exact same thing. I said because people are saying, well, are you booking clients? I said there's no advantage for me to do that, because I need my retail clients to win to generate volume, because volume is what pays my bills.
Sure.
Not your account. A $100 account isn't going to pay my bill, because if you blow a $100 account, eventually you go broke. So there's no more volume for you. So it's not in my best interest to put people on what they call the B book. It's my best interest to source out the best pricing for my flow with my institutions and my prime of primes, so that I have the widest margin in terms of what I'm making. And that's what people don't realize, is I can now, like you said, as the retail space shifts and people become more knowledgeable, I can shift with it, no problem. But do I have to do it now? No, because everybody's doing the same thing. So why would I be different? It makes no sense.
Yeah, and we're unparalleled. We're unparalleled. I went the step further in I went from the trading side to educating and trading, and kind of that volume analysis is important. Liquidity is very important, and then instead of focusing the business on the trader, I focused the business on the education side of it. So I just came from the opposite view, and the volume is absolutely, it pays the bills, but if we don't have customer retention and customers aren't able to trade confidently, then we've got a dying business.
Yeah, and that's why we've always done education, and it's also the reason why we can do free streams here and have open discussions, because I really don't care the outcome of your trading. I want it to be profitable and positive. Yeah. But your negative trading doesn't affect me. Like, I sleep perfectly fine at night. My brokerage runs now pretty flawlessly. And it's the same thing where it's just like, I want you guys to win. The more people that are doing distributions, the better. I mean, all I have to do is speak to my prime and just say, hey, move XYZ from my P&L, from my settlement and my marginal, and move it over to my bank, and we'll get it out to you guys. It's not a big deal for me. Like, I don't mind that at all. And we true up every day. Like, you know that, working with a client. They give you your statement every day, and they tell you where you're at. Like, oh, hey, you're up this. Do you want this right now, or do you want to hold it at marginal? I'll be like, okay, we can hold it.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's good. You know, it's good. It's a good industry. You know, as long as you know, the negative aspects or the negative energy that's been unfortunately developed on the wrong side of it has been cleaned up.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've hoped to do as well. Is, I mean, the amount of internet lore, I call it, is incredible. Like, the amount of stuff people, and you probably get this too, because the first thing people talk to you about is they don't even understand how trading takes place and how the market is made. And the first thing they're looking at is, oh, well, my broker is ripping me off because the spread jumped. And it's like, well, actually the spread didn't jump at all. It closed. Like, you know, volume's leaving the market, so it's going to cost you more to trade.
Yeah. How long have you been in the markets then?
So I've worked in the institutions for about 13 years prior.
Okay.
So I'm 39. So I worked with compliance. I did investment compliance, asset management, and then eventually marketing. So I held my 6, 7, 24, and 26, and then I was retail trading for the last maybe 5 years, and then the last 2 years I opened my own brokerage, because I saw what was going on in the market, and I saw the same thing with education. Is people were teaching the same things that, you know, it was almost like, you know, if we're all doing the same thing, no one's winning at that point, right? Because you're using like the perfect market, you know, strategy where you need imbalance. But at the same time, this is where we've come in and we said, hey, there's certain things that are happening in the market that we're seeing, and we're able to adapt to that. And then when I saw the brokerages, what they were doing, and I said, well, I could probably do this better. And that's what I did.
Yeah, there's a level of absurdity in the majority of brokers.
Yeah. Well, because there's no benefit for a broker to educate clients, to help clients, because it's a revolving door, and they know that. So if they pump, you know, $500,000 into marketing and have ads everywhere, they know that they're going to capture some of that. And like you said, even with the introducing broker idea, you know, I've had people come to me for introducing broker, and they're like, I want to get paid $12 a lot, and I'm like, how can anybody even afford that? I said, I can't even afford that.
You have to respond. You want to get paid $12 a lot.
Like, it's ridiculous, because I'm only charging $7, and I know what my costs are. I can afford to give people, you know, 25 cents, 50 cents because of what my costs are, but that's reasonable based on it. But people are telling me, oh, I'm getting from this broker, I'm getting $10 a lot. I said, that's impossible. Mathematically, when you own a brokerage, you know what the numbers are. And when you're $10 a lot, it's like, well, they're running a straight market-making operation. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, it's all it is. It's all it is. You know, and unfortunately, and I think we're probably on the same page as far as our you know, regulatory, you know, beliefs. But you know, the amount of restrictions there are from the institutional level and lobbying for regulations, the amount of restrictions there are on properly educating clients is a level of absurdity as well.
Well, yeah, that's
it's a whole nother conversation.
Well, it's like I've said. I mean, the regulatory bodies have really turned into cash cows for the governments. I mean, that's what they've done. They don't really have any oversight. I mean, they like to think they are, but a lot of their rules are very archaic and they don't keep up with the times. But then they try and enforce them, which makes absolutely no sense.
They try and force them under the auspices of transparency, which are non-existent.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember when I used to work with the SEC and I used to work with FINRA, and we would go into using like web development and things like that, and they look at you and say, well, you have to mark it up the same as paper. And it's like, well, the whole idea behind web was to make this more, you know, not attractive, but you be able to put more content and make it more dynamic. Well, we still need you to review it as paper. And it's like, well, this makes no sense because my disclosure now is the whole entire web page. Like, we can't do that. Like, you know, and you're sending them letters of objection saying that you can't do this, and then they read them and they say, well, we haven't got there yet in terms of our analysis and in terms of our fact finding. And it's like, well, you know, you got to evolve with the industry.
Yeah, and that's the archaic side. They don't want to. So what do we got here? Sterling yen.
Oh yeah, GJ.
GJ's just ranging.
Yeah, it's just ranging. It's been
Just-
ranging.
yeah, it's
So
just ranging.
it's nice.
Mac, you need a Marlins cap, bro.
No.
So you can't rep Miami and claim it, okay?
I'm gonna go to Miami with this cap on.
Yeah,
Come
this.
to Miami like that. Gonna rip your head.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my goose.
He's like, what's up, Rizzo?
Yeah, this day has been really choppy except for EJ. Other than that, everything just ranged.
Gold is
Looks like gold is retesting that resistance, no?
Yeah.
But look at the 4 hour on GJ.
Yeah, gold's gonna drop.
Gold is retesting right now.
What's up, Simon?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Simon.
Hey. Yeah, I'm in gold sales.
You're holding?
I'm in at like 1492, so literally like now.
Right. Okay. So I'll be good to get entries now.
That's great, mate.
Why is it ranging on meat day? Tomorrow's is potatoes.
Because it's CPI tomorrow, I know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you're right, Mac. Damn, look at Mac. Oh, fundamental Wolf Blitzer, man.
This guy. Yeah, you know, I got the same picture at IKEA.
That's why I got it.
Yeah, so got one
what's
of Miami, you got one of Miami.
What's this? What do you think of UJ sells break and retest at 107 720? 107 720. I mean, you'd want the price to break below 107 665 because when you look at the candles now here, what you got is this is the wick that we were talking about earlier on when we came on stream at like 6:30 and price this kind of came down like to this wick, this got rejected, so essentially now you want to break off this area to head further down. So I would say you got resistance here and then you got a, you know, this price has formed support right over here. Oh, yeah, I would call this day a dog shit day because, you know, just ranging. So it's good we had Nick on here to discuss things, so that probably kept people away from entering ranging market.
Yeah, there's really no trades today.
Yeah.
I've been looking. No, it's interesting to see what he does, and I figured he was working at a different level in terms of what pricing he was getting to trade off the 1 minute, because you really need to have tighter spreads and tighter. When you're paying for price, it has to be really tight. Otherwise, it's not profitable, right? That's the biggest hurdle for retail traders is profitability. But once again, a lot of people don't even trade effectively for them to say, hey, we should be profitable, right?
Mac, you ever get your oil?
No, bro. You know
It
why?
said delivered.
It's
I checked it.
I checked it too, and I've been looking at the thing on my postal.
He's been using it.
No, I swear to God, I haven't.
Damn, bro, because I just checked the tracking. It says delivered September 6, 11:08.
I know, I checked it too. It was delivered on. It said on Saturday.
Yeah, I think you guys can discuss this in WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No one wants to hear if you sending.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear you, Mac. Jesus.
You see that pullback on gold?
Yep.
Never fails, man.
Yeah, I entered a sell and then I closed like 5 pips negative, and then I'm like, yeah, I just don't look good at all.
I didn't want to enter.
That's
That almost 8 a.m.
That's
Yeah,
the
that was
one
smart.
that
8
yeah,
a.m.
that's the one you have posted on the chart, right?
Yeah.
One gold sales negative 5 pips. Yeah, they figured out that like around 8 a.m.
Oh, what's this? Look at the daily on gold. Looks like it can rise up to 1500. Oh. 1500 is above a very, very strong support, which has now turned resistance on gold. See this 1495? Look at these daily candles that rejected this level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We might get a tap too.
Might, yeah. Well, if we get a tap, then we get a tap, but there's no tapping out of this area anytime soon.
People are just upset because gold is not trending. It's ranging and then breaking out. Like,
Yeah.
That's all that's happening. Is people are trying to find trades when the overall trend is down. There's no point of taking a buy when the overall trend on the daily and the weekly has been bearish. All this will be, if anything, will be like I said yesterday. Remember we talked about it yesterday and it happened? Was, you know, gold will pull up a bit, but then it eventually drop again because we needed a relief. And that's exactly what happened the rest of the day. So it seems like gold is doing the exact same thing right now. We're hanging around 1493, which is now almost like a new resistance level. And eventually it'll just drop all the way back down to like 4. Like I want to say right now we should probably top off at 1480. So I mean we'll have to see how that plays out, but it just seems like that's the trajectory that we're going. 1480 is a target. Even 1475 would be the ultimate target at this point.
Yeah, I guess all this range is just waiting for PPI. PPI is coming in.
But you know that China is already doing some sort of relief on the tariff from U.S. products. I don't know if that's gonna give some sort of fuel to gold to continue going down.
Yeah, well, that's what they keep sending out information about the tariffs. The more positive information there is, the further gold's going to drop. So that's where we talked about the catalyst, because Iron Man Trading is talking about it right now. The gold chart now has started to flip. Yeah, obviously we still have the majority of candles are bullish, but the fundamental news that's coming in is allowing relief, which is dropping the charts. And if you're looking at where we're at the last couple of weeks, we've gone bearish. So for me personally, that's a good indication of a directional change for my trading style. When I have the higher time frames going in the same direction and more than 2 or 3 candles, I tend to think that for me, that's a good change in direction, or it's a safe opportunity for me to trade in that trend. Some people may still think gold is bullish. That's fine. But for me personally, my trend right now is bearish because we're hearing fundamental sentiments to say that the tariffs and trade wars are going to slow down a bit. Now, once again, we talked about if the U.S. is going into a recession, then yes, the gold will continue bullish. But we need those confirmations. At this point, I would not be buying gold. Let's put it that way. I can't take a buy because of what I see on the current daily structure. We've had 4 days of bearish movement. So for me, that's not confirmation of going back up. It's only once we have a rejection and I see candles flip in the other direction that I would then start taking a purchase of gold at that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, the thing is, if U.S. is going through recession, it's not going to happen this week, next week.
Yeah.
It's going to take a couple months or so. So for now, I don't see anything pushing gold really too high.
Well, it will be fundamental. So there'll have to be a fundamental announcement that will shift gold from this structure that we have right now, which is a pullback, right back into that higher frame.
Yeah.
No matter which angle you look at the charts, they're just like, you can't just force a trade at all. You can't.
Hey Raja, how
Hey.
did you meet Nick? Or where did you meet Nick?
Where did I meet Nick? We had an acquaintance. We had an acquaintance. So he told me about Nick. You know, like he has a prop firm and he does his thing. So he's like, well, he'd like to come on the stream. I'm like, okay, perfect. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, Nick.
This is entertainment. It's fun. Yeah, I'm listening to everybody's comments and everybody's perspective, and there's some good stuff here. It's just I'm used to being on the other end and just jabbering. So this is good.
Yeah, because like the way how I see it and the way how I've read about things is like the trading has evolved so much now because we have so many technologies and ways you can trade that the conversations have really gone pretty broad, right? Like you can take one subject and you can start to pick around on it, and then someone can come around with the same subject but with like a different perspective, and then now you have a whole different conversation. So like, you know, it's like I really enjoy it. Like the main idea of these live streams was to just bring people all together so we can, you know, share ideas, discuss different things. Like we have you on here. We've had a couple of traders from Instagram on here as well, share their perspectives and ideas, you know. So I think it builds like a good camaraderie, so to speak.
Yeah, community.
Exactly.
Trading is very lonesome.
Oh, so lonely. Like we used to do these webinars privately at first, just with the Zoom people here. But then I said, hey, like, you know what I mean? There are a lot of guys out there who might not be enjoying it. So once you have that sense of community, you start to enjoy trading.
Sure. Rakeel, and once you did that, your blessings started coming, man. When you started helping people, like, for nothing, expecting nothing in return, your blessings came.
Well, it's not that. It's that, you know, he opened up to a new community. Like, since we started in Twitch, I was like, what, like, maybe like 100 people watching a day? To then Mixer 500, 600, then YouTube to 1,000 a day. And it's not, you know, like somebody's gonna wake up at 6:30 and get on the stream, just try to catch 1 or 2 trades. So,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
But it's, you know, it's good stuff.
But I guess now everyone sees how you have to be really patient when you're looking for trades. Really like we've been on here for like, you know, 2 hours now. Nick has been talking like for an hour almost, you know, and since then the only thing we saw was like a little drop on EJ, and other than that there was nothing at all, basically just garbage.
Even London was a little choppy.
Yeah, London. I woke up at 3 and I looked at it. I went back to sleep. I'm like, okay. Okay. Lid on it.
If you guys enjoyed this stream, give it a like
button.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up button.
I'm not gonna lie, I gotta rewatch it to really understand what's going on.
You only have to rewatch everything.
Yeah, that's what most people say. We'll have to rewatch the recording here. Wow, man, Forex Rob has so much power.
We're so blessed that he opened the markets today. He allowed it to be open.
Yeah, but he made it consolidate the whole day.
Brought us some trade hygiene.
I mean, these are the days, you know, when you just like if you're a new trader, you just get confused. You force trades. Like if you're generally looking at EJ, GJ, and let's say gold, then you start looking at okay, so these guys are ranging. Let me just hop on to some other pair, and then you just
Yes, I used to do that.
Yeah.
No, like I used to do that. Oh my god, I used to do that. I'll be on the stream. I'll be Forex It'll be like a Tuesday or a Monday.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at AU and TD.
Where do y'all get Forex news? Forexfactory.com.
Yo.
The only thing I'm going to be looking at is maybe have buy stops or sell stops for PPI and gold, because ranging very nicely. So it's going to have a big move.
Is that sell stop 3 days straight, Raja?
Yeah,
You know?
on gold.
That's a no from me because I see markets, I'll get slipped.
Hey, it's a Sean.
Welcome to my world.
Mac.
Yeah.
Let's fix it. It's not Deshaun, it's Deshaun. Like daytime.
And it's not
Deshaun.
Deshaun because it's Ryan. Leave him alone.
Hey, Rakeel, I heard we were going to have Risky Ricky next week.
Yeah, they never respond. They never respond to me. You'd be surprised how many people I've contacted to just come on this stream and just to like talk. Like if they have any services, they can come here and kind of like, you know, advertise it. Yeah, but like they don't want to come on because I don't think they know what to say or how to, like, you know, like
they're scared.
Talk about the market.
They'll get exposed, and I think that's what they've done with what Ted was saying and this guy was just saying with the brokerage. I think there's a lot of scamming out there with Forex and like legit brokerages, and people like Rakeel that are doing these streams have made it hard for them people to scam. So they're dropping off one by one.
Yeah, that's true.
Good.
Because the way it's ranging, the more it ranged, the faster the breakout. That's what I've seen. Hard range and boom, breakout.
Oh.
Any buy sell stop for gold for PPI? Great content, by the way. Fabian Arias, no, nothing. Even if I do, I'm gonna block it from you so you can't see it. Man, like people post no charts. They just come here.
The same thing as you were talking about, those kids that gets to high school and they're trying to copy their homework 5 minutes before presenting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even. Like
my teachers, what they would do is they would mix up the MCQs, right? So everyone got different MCQs. So there was always those guys who would just, you know, copy A, B based on what the other person did, and they were off like different MCQs, and then say, "Oh, why did I fail?"
Oh yeah, when I was in AP calculus, teacher would do like 4 different tests, and she wouldn't even put the like A, B, or C or D on it. Like it would be completely random. There was no way for you to copy. And it was like multiple questions.
Yo, what's up, Matt?
What up, Nick? Been a choppy day.
Are you trading PPI?
No, nah, you just say you're not trading PPI.
The market is choppy because it's September 11th.
Oh. Nominal silence.
That makes so much sense.
Nominal silence.
Like the world doesn't make me want to make us profit. It's such a tragic day.
Yeah, that could be it.
Especially in New York, right?
Yeah, but there would have been some serious profits on that day.
No, we just don't say that.
Mate, the volatility.
Yeah, mate, the volatility.
Don't say that.
No, but he's serious.
Oh, it's true.
It's
It's
true.
like there would have been
Uncertainty right now.
It's fact.
That's the kind of the move I'm looking for gold.
Raja, do you sell your strategy to people for purchase? There is no strategy.
No, there is a strategy. Just don't sell it. It's
Just
called
I just won't
It's
sell
free.
it now. No, now I just won't sell it to anyone.
Yeah, sell it, make billions.
Let me just write down a strategy here. I'm just gonna not sell it to
He
anyone.
doesn't sell pair analysis for $12.
It's gonna be like strategy.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. So I guess gold's buy stop at 14.95 and the sell stop at 14.8850. But that sell stop is too far away. Fuck. Maybe a sell stop at 14.90.
Strategy for support and sell resistance. I did that. Another strategy.
Rakeel, listen to me. I gotta ask you a question.
Wait for candles.
Oh, listen to Alex.
Rakeel, so listen, you know how you just said that your stop loss is too big? Let me ask you something. Usually your stop loss is 10 pips, right?
Yeah.
But let's say you see a really juicy trade and the stop loss is like 15 pips. Now, do you enter that trade? And second, do you enter that trade with different lot size compared to the 10 pip stop loss?
Yes, so if it's a 15 pip stop, and if I see that my stop could be bigger than 15 pips, then obviously I'm gonna, like, you know, lower down my lot size. Like, let's say I opened a gold sell earlier on, like to take a sell. That was a 5 lot. So I mean, if my stop would have been bigger, I would have maybe jumped down to 2 lot, because now my stop is going to be bigger, but the risk is going to stay the same.
Thank you.
Dollar value.
Yeah. Risk is going to stay the same, but like the problem is when most people enter trades, they don't realize what they're risking, and when it hits their stop loss, they go back and say, "Oh man, fuck, I lost this much money." And then I always say, "Well, why are you mad if you lost this much money? Like, you had a stop loss, so that means you knew how much you're going to lose."
Yeah, and the other thing is too, people try and take trades and then they don't know where to place a stop loss, or their stop loss is hurting their risk management, but they still take the trade. There's no trade at that point. If you can't effectively manage the risk with your stop loss and take profit, even if you think it's an optimal setup, it's not, because you have to be able to place a stop loss effectively. So to say, hey, if we go to this point, you know, that means that we're changing direction, or, you know, it's reached my risk limit. You can't, it's like people try and place a stop in the middle of a zone because they want that trade to go further down, and it's like, you've missed it. You can't execute on that trade now because of the fact that you've missed that entire opportunity. You can see that it'll play out accordingly, but there's going to be a lot of times where it'll pull back and it'll stop you out and then continue down, and then you're going to get mad because you tried to measure risk to reward where you weren't measuring it correctly. Always start with your stop loss. If your stop loss doesn't make sense, there's no trade. It doesn't matter how great an opportunity looks. If you can't place an effective stop loss within risk management, there's no point of doing it. Always start from the basis of how much can I afford to lose. Start with that basis every single time you take a trade. How much can I afford to lose? That's the first thing that you should look at. How much I'm willing to risk and how much I'm willing to lose. Those are the things you look at when you start to execute on a trade. Not what does the trend look like? What does my chart look like? What is this? It's where am I mapping out to say where can my stop be? Where am I going to get hurt the most?
Pretty good strategies you got up there. What? Here we go.
The best part of waking up. I don't know what's better, the rooster or the birds.
Rooster in the Rari. Where's your rooster on?
Trading today, huh?
No, just look at this.
First day I've been on in a while and I get enough trade.
It's not, there's no trading. It might start to develop in the next hour or two.
Yes.
Now, if it's moving this slow for me already, I probably won't place a trade.
Iron Man Trading. I didn't get any message here from Iron Man Trading. I check my Telegram maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, Telegram's a thing of the past, bro. I used to be on that shit all the time. Now it's never.
Yeah. Telegram gets popping. Alright, everybody copy the strategies. Where sell stop of gold.
Alright, let's take a look at this. Basically, the way how pendings work, the way I've been using pendings recently has been above and below the nearest 1 hour support or resistance. So maybe a buy stop at 1494. How far is that? 20 pips. Alright, let's do this. 1494. Buy stop.
Yo, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Dimitri.
Good morning. Did you have frog legs for breakfast, Dimitri?
Some
My breakfast is gonna be in a couple of hours, so I'll send you a pic of the frogs I'm gonna eat.
All right, good. I like how you only eat twice a day.
I like it. Are you skinning them? Are they fresh caught?
Yeah, they're already like they're cooked.
Oh, they're already skinned.
Yes, I'm not gonna be doing the skinning. Like I'm not about that life.
Oh, come on.
Alright, so I got a sell stop at 1490 and I got a buy stop at 1494. Actually 1494.50.
Thank you.
Rakeel, did you like that spreadsheet that I sent?
When did you send it?
It was a few days ago. Remember the one with the expenses?
Oh yes, yeah.
Try it out.
I really liked it. I haven't really gotten time to try it out. I'm probably gonna look at it maybe on Friday. Yeah, but it looked really neat. Like what your expenses are and what you should expect to make a day.
Yeah, so I kind of broke it down to per day expense.
Yeah. All right.
What is it, a profit and loss spreadsheet?
No, so it's like you get all your expenses that you want trading to cover.
Oh, okay.
So basically, for example, if your monthly rent is X amount, it'll tell you how much you need to make per day.
Right.
Yeah, to then cover that.
To be sustainable.
Yeah, and then as you get better, you add more expenses to the spreadsheet, and it, obviously that daily amount will increase. And then basically what I've done is, depending on what your growth plan is, so how much you want to make per day, for example, 5%, I'll tell you how much capital you need to be able to cover the cost of there.
So you're right, to make 5%.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There you go, gold. Of course, time I have gold. Is that even a question?
There you go.
Damn,
90-50.
Did it just tap target?
Yeah, I just tapped it like
I tapped it way too tight.
so tight. So you gotta manage it like that.
Just keep going down. Keep making that money. Niggas is trying to get rich.
Nothing.
Wait, you didn't catch that, Rakeel?
That's
Nope.
very scary.
Nope. I had a sell stop at 1490, but news never really moved hard, so I removed it.
Oh, I had a sell stop at like 1490. What did I? Where is it? 91.35. But I was in sales from like 1493 already.
Ooh.
No, 1492.3. So I put 20 pips done.
Oh, so people made money. Oh, that's good. Good.
I was
What
in
was
sell
this?
back close before, of course. Not doing me like that.
Too risky.
It looks like gold is making its usual dildo count.
Oh, so it's all actually better than expected. Oh, course PPI. Yeah.
Yeah, so like gold's leaving a wick on the 15-minute. If it's good news, it's going to get filled. If it leaves a wick.
This daily is gonna go bearish. Like,
Yeah, it makes sense. Just retesting that level on the daily.
Yeah, makes sense.
In other words, take Simon's signal later on this morning. It's not going to work right now. Simon, you know it doesn't happen when you say it happens. It happens 2 hours later. So.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Simon, I agree. It's going to drop later.
It's happened, but
Simon's from the future. He knows what's happening. He just doesn't know when.
When it's gonna happen. But it's gonna happen the same day regardless. 84 hours.
Happened late this week. This happened late on gold.
Yeah, and that's something that as a trader I picked up on too. That's why I've been trading a lot in the afternoon. I've been trying to trade later on in the afternoon. I've also been trading the Asian sessions. Because when the market shifts like that, I try and capitalize on that shift. If I see a trend where we start having gold move at like 11 o'clock in the morning, so like 2 hours from now or 3 hours from now, and the structure is correct, then I start taking sells. Like yesterday, I had sells in from where is it here? I had sells in from 1494, and I got stopped out, and it dropped to 1485.
Yes,
but it's exactly what you said though. It's just happening later on. So all I've been doing is I've just been sitting back waiting for that structure to hit, whether it's based off the London close or based on a little bit more of the U.S. volume coming in, and then anticipating that drop continuing. Because, like I said, there was no reason yesterday for the candle to stay bullish. If we were going bullish, as soon as I started to see the flip bearish, it's like, we're dropping all the way down. And it's the same thing that's happening today.
Right, on gold?
Yeah, it's just a little bit more pronounced, because you can see that the top wick was created around 1495 or whatever it is. We're just tapping back into that zone. So technically the daily candle should flip bearish, but if it doesn't, the next daily candle will.
I think this candle will flip bearish. If you see the previous one, it has no rejection to the bottom. Great confluence for it to go down.
Yes. The only thing is it's holding at that support, which is part of the zone that it's in right now.
Right, 1484.
You might not get the push today. It might happen tomorrow. So
what you might get today, right? You look on this 30-minute. I'm just going to draw it up. It did all this mess here. It's got the same thing going on here.
Correct.
And then obviously, eventually, this happened. So you just got to wait for this. It's probably going to happen, but we just don't know when. Set your alerts.
Probably when we're all asleep.
Yeah, set your alerts. Because when it does break this, it's just going to come straight to here.
Well, wouldn't that be a good sell stop at around what is that? What's that price there?
1489.
Yeah. 1488.50. 60.
Yeah. The problem is you got to be aware that it could do this and then this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Or what did it do back then? Yeah, it did actually. It ripped right back. Yeah. Shit.
Right. Yeah. See that back here. It had that drop, and then it retested on the outside, and then it came down again. See? Most likely it's gonna happen again.
It'd be good to have a trading bot that would sell things when the candle closed below a certain level.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just like a sell stop where it just, if it hits that price, it's gone. There you go. Anyone made one?
No, not yet. Sean Lee asked him.
I bought a book actually on MT4 programming, but I read about the first 3 pages.
Oh well, at least you went that extra mile and you bought the book.
Yeah. No, because I keep having these ideas oh man, what if I had something that when this price closes below this on the 1 hour candle, sell it or whatever.
Yeah. You know what? You probably could get someone to actually build it for you. You don't actually have to know yourself. I think that would be quite simple to some extent. It's just more of, okay, how does the trading bot figure out the price that it needs to close below?
Well, it's a lot of coding, and also it comes down to like fundamentals, like
like it's very similar coding to C. If anyone's like,
I know C, C++.
Yeah, so it's similar to that.
C++ is simple, it's not complicated. But then you got the fundamental side of it, which
once you know the variables that MetaTrader uses and sources, it'll be easy for someone. I mean, I can code, but not really in C, so I have a basic understanding of. Like I've created a few like my own just indicators for various different things, but
on C or C++?
Pardon?
On C or C++? Can you use C++?
I just coded it in the MQL whatever code for MetaTrader.
The MQL.
The spreadsheet someone mentioned about expenses seemed interesting. Any chance we can share it? Is it completed?
Yeah, where did you post that? You posted that in Slack?
No.
No, I kind of just sent it to Raja to check.
Oh, okay.
It's a super secret method.
Oh, because I come from a financial planning background, so it's all about the cash flow and.
Yeah.
I kind of figured.
Yeah.
The way that spreadsheet was all set up, I kind of knew. Yeah, Daniel, he's watching his money. So that's good.
Daniel.
Yeah, nice. So like if Daniel's okay, I'm just gonna make a link and I'm gonna post it so people can view it.
Yeah, completely fine.
Rakeel.
Hey.
I want to be a guest speaker on your stream one day.
Tomorrow. We can probably have you tomorrow.
Damn.
What's the topic, Alex?
Yeah, are we gonna talk about cannabis?
How to brush
vegan pips.
Vegan pips.
Yeah.
Vegan pips.
If Alex is going to be a guest speaker, I want to be one too, and I just want to talk about fighting.
Vegan pips don't grow.
Basically, if the market doesn't do what you want it to do, go to the city centre and fight all the banks. That's what you do.
Oh, FX Dreamer. Oh, we got Iron Man trading here.
Iron Man finally made it on.
Iron Man.
What's up, Tony Stark?
Alex, how long's your hair, man?
It's down to my booty.
Pocahontas.
Down to my booty, guys.
Alex Alvarez.
I like it because when I let it loose and I'm like about to shower, it tickles my butt.
You're such a loosey girl.
Oh, nice.
Do you use Pantene?
Use Pantene.
Rakeel, you use MT5, right?
Yeah, this is interesting because nice. I can probably use this to create something.
What's interesting? Tell me.
This, what's seeing on my screen.
FX Dream is pretty good. There's a couple of them out there, but this is pretty good because it's very visually friendly. Very visually friendly.
It looks very simple too.
Yeah, it is, and I can't program a coffee pot. I have to hire programmers to do what I need. But it really sucks. I love it when the K-Cups came out because I don't have to program anything. But yeah, this is pretty visually friendly.
Yeah, this is nice.
And they've been around, I don't know, probably maybe 6-7 years or so.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on this on the weekend. I'll try to do something.
Okay, but I don't get it, Coach. Like, what is it special? What's so special about this? What are you talking about?
This, you can create scripts for MT4, MT5. You can possibly go into creating some sort of an algorithm with it as well. I'm not really sure. But the way I see it here is that it helps you. It's kind of like, I'm not sure if you guys know, remember Shockwave, after HTML holding.
Yeah, shockwave.
Shockwave came where you necessarily didn't have to code everything, but it was just like visually available there, so you can just like drag, drop, and maybe like change some stuff here and there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very binary.
I think you can only, like with the free version, you can only have like 3 or I can't remember how many, like a certain number of variables or in the code for free.
Ooh, yeah.
It's something like that, or they don't allow you to export the code or some. It's you get the executable, but not the raw code.
Yeah, something.
Oh look, if we hit a brick wall, I know people that can help build the actual thing. It'll probably cost a bit, but look, the whole goal is just sit back and let this thing trade for you.
Yeah, look at the testimonials and reviews. Thanks to FX treatment.
This is great. Conditions.
No, this is the dream here.
Yeah.
Just basically.
See, the thing is, everyone okay, so I have a couple dozen trading plans that people have created, right? And all their plans are, I will buy if this happens, then this happens, then this happens, And if you look at from far away, you can see that, okay, this plan is a profitable plan. But the only way you lose is once you start deviating from that plan and then you start over trading. So I always tell guys that, hey, listen, if your plan was programmed like an algo, like right over here where it says like, you have a condition, do it once a day, trade or no trade, then it's going to be over long term a profitable plan. So that's what I'm trying to do here.
Well, and you know what? Because, just reading the wicks can be so simple sometimes. Like EJ, for example, on that way down, it was just textbook. And basically, if you had an algo reading that the whole way down, you'd make, and you wouldn't be trading. You'd just be letting the thing do the work.
Yeah. Iron Man trading. The fun thing about trading is like people can come and argue about this is this and that, but it's their own perspectives. The one thing I ask from everybody is to just respect everyone else's way of trading and what their perspective is.
Yeah, he said it was very difficult the way we trade.
Yeah. When someone comes in aggressively saying, no, you are wrong, I can't tolerate that at all.
Nope. There's 50 million ways to trade.
Yep. And I've lost over $100,000 to realize that, so I'm...
And that's what I was saying with you, no offense to Nick or other guest speakers, but I'm set in my plan and the way I look at my trading that I feel when I look at other things like that, it just confuses me.
Of course it's gonna confuse you.
I respect it, and whatever works for everybody works for them,
But Alex, that's good because so many people that start out, try one thing, it doesn't work, or then or they're not disciplined with it, so they think, okay, let's try the next thing, and then that doesn't work. Usually because it's their own fault, they're not sticking to the plan or whatever. Then they move on to the next one, and then to the next one.
And then they finally find something, but maybe 2 or 3 years later.
Exactly.
On YouTube,
10 minutes ahead of time.
On YouTube, someone's trying to buy GJ.
And
someone's trying to sell it.
In YouTube, what? Sean said to sell if he stopped DMT, I guess.
No.
I got some DMT coming.
Hey, whoa.
It's gonna be a first time for that.
Guys, remember that I'm guilty too, but we can't talk like
we can't talk like that.
Yeah, you have to
the
go to
audience
your...
is growing.
You have to go to your WhatsApp group.
Channel is growing. We have to be a little professional. I have to remind myself sometimes too.
Yeah, let me wear a bow tie.
Not like the old days, huh? Sorry, Rakeel.
Rakeel. GJ looks like it's about to drop off a cliff.
Yeah, if it breaks up 4 hours support.
Yeah.
Bro, I've been waiting the GCAT to die since Tuesday.
Gold is going to be a buy above 14.95. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the resistance there.
I don't think I'm going to buy it. I can see it doing a fake out like it did yesterday, and then
like what type of 1500 and go down.
I like that idea, Simon. Hey, maybe Rakeel, maybe you should put the rocket ship indicator.
I can't, man. I took a loss today.
Okay, my bad.
New York session is a loss for me today. I lost. Yeah. I took 2 trades in Asian yesterday, and then I took 1 trade in New York, and
Your 2 trades in Asian made up for your loss today, so you're good.
yes, exactly. I'm up 1100 for today so far.
Hey, Rakeel, did you do a webinar yesterday?
Asian
During
session? Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He does that for the Forex family members, the Asian session.
Yeah, I think I
Oh,
accidentally.
no, I'm part of the Forex.
Yeah, so I think I accidentally. Yeah, somebody can talk. I think I accidentally put the link in the New York channel for the Forex family chat.
Propellers. There's no fire in it. So
Wow, what a waste of day today. What a waste.
Don't say that, bro. We had Nick on. We talked.
Oh yeah.
He highlighted the 2 funny things this day. Got Nick on. Constantine came up.
Burner's working, bro. He's on the roof.
Yeah, I haven't seen Burner in ages.
So you guys are meeting up in Miami this weekend?
Next weekend.
Oh yeah, baby. It's party time.
Yeah, you got plans?
Oh man. Wherever Rakeel wants to go, that's all I know.
You taking Rakeel out?
Yeah.
We're gonna take him out.
Oh, Alex, invite all of your vegan girlfriends.
No.
No,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna introduce him to some nice things.
No, I can't. I can't.
No, he can't, man. I'm joking, Rakeel. You're a married man, and we're going to church. We're going to the mosque.
I can't. My wife is sending me with a. She's sending me with a GoPro.
Your girl sent you with a GoPro.
She's like.
gonna shut up now before I get Rakeel in more trouble. Man.
She's like, put this on your forehead when you go.
Who says EJ's going to the moon? What's going on?
I'll do a Astro style video, man. You're going to Miami.
Man, I wish I had enough friends to record me while I walk and talk.
Can you not just hire someone for like?
That means you have a really big ego, Rakeel.
You can hire me for $20 to
No, I'm not.
To follow you around?
I can't because it's a business trip, not a leisure trip.
You need to hire someone. I'll do it.
Maybe one of Alex's honeys can record us.
No, they don't want to
Rakeel.
record that. They want to record something else.
Why do you want to record yourself when you walk?
I just
Because it's for the cloud.
Not him. It's his wife.
It's for the gram.
Not for the cloud.
Yeah. I was actually waiting for the 1 hour here on EJ to reject this area to go down. Actually, I was waiting for this 30-minute to close bearish, but it didn't. It went up.
Maybe break and retest up that level.
Yeah, so I guess we're right. Like it might come up to retest this area that it broke. The fuck is this?
Yeah, but why would hold on. So because the 30-minute broke, did it close bullish?
It's about to close. It's about to close.
He's moving it. Damn, now we messed it up. No. It took me like 30 minutes.
Yeah, so basically if you look on the 4 hour, the 4 hour broke. 4 hour had resistance here from yesterday during the Asian and pre-London, and then it broke it in New York. So now essentially I would wait to see if this area gets respected again for a continued move down. That would be something I would wait to see, but now I'm looking at the time. It's almost 9 a.m. for me to just step away from the charts. So
and that 1 hour, actually broke the previous candle wick. So okay.
Yeah.
We're looking pretty good to go up.
Yeah, and also because like the other fact was that the 1 hour closed with no wick either, so that means there was no range for the next candle.
Has yours got no wick?
Yeah.
Go zoom in. Mine has.
Oh, well, it's just a tiny little nipple, is it? If you look close enough, like it's there, pimple,
What was I going to say? Yeah, but doesn't that mean if it's got no wick, wouldn't that mean that there's momentum?
When the candle closes, so the whole idea about like wicks don't line stuff is like, let's say if you had a support right over here, this candle closed with the wick. So wicks, basically I look at the wicks like as like the candles are dropping breadcrumbs for the next candle to continue on, which you can just say, oh yeah, it's going to go and fill the wick, right? Okay, gotcha. So this had a wick, this had a wick, like so if once the candle closes with no wick, but now you also have to understand that if it's closing in a zone where there has been consolidation, or if it's closing at like a support or a resistance with no wick, that means there's no range for the next candle to go in that direction. So earlier on we were talking about this area as price comes in here, there's going to be like price has ranged here, so maybe like it's respecting this rangy area here now.
Rakeel, you know how you said that, okay, you know how some wicks have, some candles have wicks to both the bottom and the top. Does that automatically tell you that the next candle has a chance of going either way?
It depends on how the 4 hour is, what time of the day you're in. Got it. It depends on a lot of factors. So,
because obviously in that example it went up. It obviously went to the breadcrumbs to the top.
Yeah, breadcrumbs to the top.
But for those candles, Alex, you're trying to say the dojis?
Yeah, well, not dojis, because dojis are small bodies. Like that candle he was talking about had a big bullish body with a long wick on the top and the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the dojis, yeah, I know what.
Yeah, because usually dojis are reversal. You can
yes.
that doji on an EJ.
I read the Candlestick Bible 3 times.
I don't really go.
And that's just, even reading that's just to add confluence. You don't go just by that.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You're not gonna get guide just one thing, just because of the candle.
Rakeel, I've been waiting for GCAT to break that support for like days.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm watching it now. Like I'm really watching it.
Since Monday, right?
Well, yeah. Monday made that move up, and it hasn't come back down. It hasn't corrected that move up.
Yeah, it's just been ranging.
Can we stay until 11 a.m.?
No, I have to go to the gym.
I have to go to the moment we close this streaming, the market is gonna start to move.
Yeah.
Actually, that has happened yesterday. I caught a good catch and gold. Forgot how many because I think it was like 15. As soon as the stream closed, I looked at gold and
ooh, someone sent a chart. Oh, UJ 30 minute. Good spot to buy. Did you miss the move? Question mark. Hey, this doesn't count. You're supposed to send a chart when you take the entry.
Signal.
Man, I have a theory on that though, Rakeel. Like,
is that a conspiracy theory or?
No. Like, I feel like people who like should send charts out when they enter a trade are like people like mentors or people like Rakeel that people have people looking up to them and learning from them. Like somebody like I don't feel like I should share every like you know what I'm saying?
No, I think
if I send a chart, you won't follow.
I think it's not even about that. It's about because okay, so we've seen a shift, right? The shift was okay at first, like you'd send charts after the going profits, but the whole idea about posting your chart when you enter is like now you're gaining that confidence. You're like, okay, you know what, guys, I'm confident about this trade. This is a trade I'm in, and I'm gonna stick to this trade. So over time, you get confident because like the first week, I remember on the live stream, the first week I was scared shitless. about losing a trade, because I've never really, like, you know, posted a chart on the screen for everyone to see ever. You know, so that was really scary. But then as time went on, I became more confident on that, because when I look back in the first, you know, 3 months, I knew that, okay, the trades I'm taking on the live streams, they are more winning trades than losing trades. So automatically that sense of fear kind of faded away, because now I knew, like, you know, I mean, if I just treat trading just like from a binary perspective, I'm going to have more wins than losses. So at the end of the day, I mean, it just increases your confidence in yourself.
Yeah, but did you ever binary trade?
Yes, I did. I did actually. That was my first introduction to trading, binary trading.
Damn, how'd it work out?
4 or 5
manipulator.
4 or 5 years ago, yeah. I was working on the oil rigs, had a bunch of money saved up. I put in 5,000. At 2 p.m., by 6 p.m., I was down to 500.
Oh, in one day?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, up, okay. In the next...
so easy, right? But no.
Yeah, double, just gone.
Your binary brokers were on the beach.
Yeah.
I was back in these CPS days.
Yeah, but like, I didn't know shit about trading. All I knew was that, okay, price should stay above this level for the next 1 minute. And, you know, now when I look back at it, I look at the spreads were massive. And I knew, yeah, this was just fucked. Yeah, because the spreads were too big for price to stay above that level on the 1 minute. And of course, I was trying to do binary at 5 p.m. when the spreads are already high. You know, and price is ranging, not moving at all.
That's why I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know we know that.
Hey,
But-
you got a success story in YouTube.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Don't binary trade.
Yeah, but now if I did binary, I think we'd kill it.
Yeah, let's binary trade then.
Yeah, because I think binary trading is all about entering in momentum.
There's this guy in IML, his name is Nez, and he became a 7-figure trader live. Like, he became a millionaire live by trading binary. Like, that's what he teaches. It's crazy.
Ooh.
It's like, it's so easy, not easy, but it's so much quicker and less stressful than this supposedly. I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta stick to 1 to 2 trades in binary too. What's this? Do you see this as an obstacle to the bullish movement? Because in 1 hour, it's only a wick. Ooh, yeah, yes, this would be an obstacle. Let's take a look at that. Wait. Oh. Is this an old chart?
That's a chart, yeah. I was about to say.
Yeah, that's an obstacle right there. Because when you're looking at candles, let's say, like, you know, you're looking to see this as, okay, so the 1 hour candle's reversed from here, and if 1 hour is a stronger confirmation than the 15-minute or 30-minute, you're like, okay, well, there might be something going on here, you know. And then you see this wick here, so what are the chances that price is gonna reverse from here as well? Then that's a probability you play off of.
That's easy, yeah.
Hey, Iron Man, why can't you come on the mic?
You say you can't talk.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know, it took a while to get him in here, and now he doesn't talk.
Oh, I know Iron Man. We've had Iron Man on here before.
Yeah, Sasquatch.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, come on the mic and talk.
Yo, rakeel, would you do a boot camp in Australia?
Excuse me?
In Australia, will you do a boot camp?
Yeah, I mean, if there's interest.
And kangaroos.
For
Those
sure.
kangaroos, don't worry about that.
We need some kangaroos.
Get at least 10 people. We'll do a boot camp in Australia.
Yeah, Kevon knows. And 10 kangaroos. Two kangaroos per person. 20 kangaroos.
Wow, what a shit day, man. What a shit day. Look at GJ.
I'm about to start trading in the 1 minute.
Wow.
I'm about to go in the 1 minute, right?
Oh, someone said GU is breaking out.
Bear sales on UJ.
Bear sales. Yesterday, guys had buys and
Seriously, what a crazy day today.
What a fucked up day.
Raging.
Oh, GU. So GU had support. GU had support here. This kind of broke down. This kind of broke down. So this kind of essentially filled this wick and continued down to this area.
Now it looks like you're fishing for trades.
Yeah. Now when I look at this, I tell myself, hey, Raja, you're heading into the territory of overtrading.
That's what I was just about to say, Coach, but you're smarter than me.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna stop right there.
Yeah, just stop. Because you're making me hesitant. I'm about to go on the 1 minute with the RSI on it. Start clicking. Clicker.
Toronto to Australia. Let's see how far these flights are.
Oh man, it's a lot of flying.
Oh my god, 21 hours. Yeah, that's why I don't want to go there.
No stops, right?
No.
An island.
There's one stop.
Oh, where?
Whoa, one flight is 42 hours.
What?
Singapore, oncoming set, the stop.
Singapore?
Yeah, probably if the flight's 42 hours, the pilot's not using his, not putting his foot down, he's trying to save petrol.
Y'all are making so much money, why not pay TradingView Pro? See, the whole idea about making money is not about spending it. That's the whole idea.
Yeah,
because if you're let's say making 500 a day, it does not mean you're gonna go out there and finance the Benz. No, it doesn't work like that. I mean, for me, doing I'm very cheap, you know, I'm a cheapskate.
Now is money management. That's a separate course.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's one thing that children aren't taught in school is how to manage money.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's fucked up. Children should be taught how to manage, you know, their allowance or whatever. Or at least, you know, high school.
Yeah, my last
not all for $200,000.
Don't you know it's easier to make money, it's harder to keep it?
Yeah.
See, the little lad's birthday, so instead of just buying him presents, we gave him the money and let him realise he had to work out himself what he was spending, what he was saving.
Yeah, and then you scold them.
You know, the funny thing is, so my son likes ice cream, right? So when he's done 3/4 of the way of his ice cream, I take the rest of it. Yeah, at first he used to cry. Everyone said, "What are you doing? Why are you making?" I'm like, "No, listen, this is tax. This is tax.
My ice cream. This is tax money."
Yeah, this is tax, son. You just got taxed.
You get in his face.
Yeah, I just take it from him. I'm like, this is.
What you gonna do,
That's awesome because you're teaching them how the real world works.
Yeah. So now when he's
a trophy for 5th place.
Yes. So now when he's done with his 3/4, he just comes to me just like, hey. He's like,
here's your tax money.
Take it.
Gives you a scoop in the face.
Yeah, because
give him a tax break, Rakeel.
No tax breaks, because I don't get no tax breaks.
You know, makes sense.
Welcome to the real world.
Yeah, because my mom would say, "Why do you do this?" And I'm like, "No, it's tax."
Yeah, that's like me. Like, if I'm dating a girl and she's got kids to someone else, then what I do is I eat their packed lunch when I'm hungry.
That's like the government surprises you with a fine.
They just got fined.
Right? Come on, that's tax.
That's my lunch missing. That's tax.
Take a bite out of everything and put it back.
That's like the bank charging you $40 for not having $20 in your account. Oh, you can't pay me? Well, here now you gotta pay a fine.
Yeah, I mean, still.
Geos are gonna drop here too now. Oh.
If you go through and look at the 2 o'clock candles, UK time.
Mate, this is gonna drop. It's dropping now.
Gold's gonna feel that wick in the 30 minutes.
Yes, I agree with that. Where's Iron Man? Is Iron Man in buys?
Kavan, this is the break and retest of the daily now. The 4 hour, the daily is going to flip bearish.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. So like the safe trade on this would be a break and retest of 1488.
Yeah, look at that daily rejection of that support.
Wow, a lot of pullback. Got a shitty day.
Just wait.
Don't pull the trigger yet.
Wait for a 1 hour candle to close below like 1490.
Why is no one in EJ longs? That something wrong with it?
There's resistance at. There's literally resistance like 10 pips away.
I'd be careful.
Well, isn't that your...
Because of the ECB tomorrow, so I think the market's setting up for a huge move down for tomorrow.
Ah, okay. Good to know.
Keep in mind, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, plus like the overall bias here, like if you look on EJ, the bias is that this was resistance, price broke it, and now it should essentially retest it to continue down. So that would be a better move instead of trying to scrape this little buy up.
So the moves are going to happen on Potato Day.
Potato Day? Why is it Potato Day?
Because today's meat and tomorrow's potato. Meat and
Yo,
potato.
Iron Man, are you wearing a GoPro?
Wearing a what?
A GoPro?
No.
Iron Man.
I'm just dumb. I don't know how to do this stuff.
Oh, you're facing the other way, bro. It looks like you're wearing a GoPro.
Bro, you're the Tony Stark. You know about technology the most, bro.
No, I'm awful at technology.
Yeah, you already told us all that, man. I got a dope idea.
Get a house tour.
Don't jump off the balcony, man.
Oh, is it?
Patio.
What are you seeing now?
We're looking at a lake.
I see a picket fence. Keep on walking. You're good. You're good. Now I see a bar.
Yeah, I'll turn it
All right, you good. Don't crash. You good. There you go.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. The GoPro's on.
It's like 7 o'clock in the morning here.
Nice.
Wait, where are you at again?
I'm in Boise, Idaho area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's cold too. I actually had some hot chocolate this morning.
Nice. It's not even cold enough in New York yet. It's like 7 sun.
Tony, we don't talk about chocolate here. This is a vegan street.
Maybe my thing is going crazy. Yeah, dude. It goes in and out.
Oh, this was a fun day. We had some interesting conversations today.
Yes, Nick. Yeah.
This is what happens when the market ranges. We just have conversations.
We just talk.
I just wanted to go over that. What I guess what I consider on that. We were talking about the trend on the weekly and everything. I just if I look at it from gold on the weekly, it's
weekly.
Unless it goes below 1377 for me. From April 15th, it's not a trend reversal.
Oh, okay.
1377? No, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, because what I was looking at was
April 15th, 2018 is what I'm seeing. And unless it breaches that, it's still an uptrend once it went above that. So
yeah, it makes sense. That's a big weekly support.
That's what I was looking at. So that's what we were talking about. Is if once we get to that target area, then there's a decision, right? Because it's sort of like if you look on like the small time frames, it's almost like a break and retest of the higher time frames. It's just there's so much more of a move on the smaller time frames, or sorry, the higher time frames. That's why like you're holding, right? So I know what you're saying. You're like, okay, I'll dollar cost in this area because I know that we're going back to that range again. Where
I just trade differently than most.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm swinging. I'm holding this for months.
Yeah, it makes total sense what you're doing. I'm just saying that I can wait for that flip again and then ride it back up. Yeah, yours makes sense. I mean, you're a crazy swing trader, so it's awesome to see.
You're holding. You said you're holding it for months.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And what's the swap of that?
Well, I think that the closer we get to the election in the United States, I think the markets are going to start tanking and gold's going to go up. That's going.
Yeah.
Well, the election is what, in 2020, right?
If elections go, didn't pull the market back.
In a year. And I'm guaranteed there's a recession before that happens just because I think they want him out.
Yeah, but he's going to get re-elected regardless.
Trump wants
he is.
0 interest rates. That's what he wants.
But the reason he's going to get re-elected is because the people that are running against him are insanely crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at gold. Holy shit.
Keep going down.
Oh, baby.
Got that, Simon. Thank you.
There you go.
Good job, Simon. Thank you.
Yeah, Simon called it like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Keep going down, gold.
We all wanted to go down.
I do too.
Yep.
I get a better price to buy if it goes down.
Did GU drop? Oh yeah, GU dropped.
Told you. Date is flipping.
DU dropped as well.
Well, anyway, I'm out, guys.
And it has no bottom wick.
Nice seeing you guys.
Take care.
Nice
Have
talking
fun.
to you, and have fun.
Take care, motherfucker.
Gold's going to push down. It's going to break the daily low. So
it's probably going to go to 79.
It will break 1485 today.
I'm holding.
I'm holding now. I'm 30 pips deep, so I'm holding.
Yeah. Same.
No, 79 is the next target.
Yeah, agreed. I think, we were talking about that in the chat. I think at 1480, that will be a pivot point where we'll have to make a decision on what's going to happen. And I think there'll be some magical news event that'll push gold back up.
Well, I'm hoping that it drops below 1479 and gets a bunch of more traders going short.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll pop it up when they get enough traders going short. That's what I'm hoping.
Do you see 1483?
No, I'm looking at the daily. I don't see 14. I'm sure it's there. I'm just not seeing it right now.
I see what you're saying.
I'm drawing 1479 from. Gosh, where is? I go to a different chart, I guess. I don't even know where. Why did I draw that?
Daily wick.
Why is that significant?
Tony's very informative. Good job, man.
If you go back and look at the 2 o'clock candles, the 4 hour 2 o'clock candles, they're all like a 100 pip move.
2 o'clock 4 hour.
So what's that like? It's 2 o'clock now UK. So what's that for you? 9 o'clock Eastern.
9 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you put you onto the 4 hour and just look at all the 4 hour candles at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
They're all big candles. Basically, when the New York opens and London's open.
Is the oil news already happened too? Is the oil inventories, isn't that here in an hour?
Yeah, in an hour.
Okay. So oil is tanking a little bit too, just pre-news stuff. I'll buy oil at 57.
Yeah, but if you buy oil at 57 and we have a global recession, and obviously demand for oil drops because, China's in an economic slowdown, then how does that all work?
Well, if I have 7 contracts I'm willing to put on a trade, I'm just going to put 1 on it, 57. I'm just going to dollar cost average into it. So I'm going to trade it very lightly at that first level, and then I'm just going to wait for more significant support areas, and I'll add positions. So I'll trade it really lightly to where I could not see it. I could not watch it for 2 weeks and keep going down, and I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So is that usually your strategy? You got 7 contracts for each trade, for each idea, and then once you've hit 7, you don't add any more to the position.
5 to 7, yeah.
5 to 7. Okay.
Cool. What I do, when I go into the markets, I go to the 4-hour chart first, and I just draw my red lines at major support and resistance levels, and then I'll trade around those levels.
Okay. Cool.
So, but I've been doing it for almost 15 years this way. So,
wow.
Well, look, whatever works. That's it.
So how have you seen retail trading, like, you know, evolve over the time you've been trading?
Say that again. You cut out. Say that again.
How have you seen like retail trading evolve, like, since the time you've been trading?
I love retail traders.
Would you guys?
And the reason I say that is because my charts are empty. I have no indicators on my charts. For me personally, I don't believe in them.
Yeah.
But I know they work for other people. I don't believe in them. My best indicator is other traders. So I literally will go into other rooms and I'll see what the sentiment is, and I'll do the exact opposite.
That's what we do from like, you know, for a couple of traders on Instagram too. Like they'll do these.
Well, 90% of traders lose, right? If that theory is correct, all you have to do is know what the herd's doing and do the opposite.
Yeah.
That's like so simple, you know, but yet people like don't do that, you know.
Oh man.
Because the herd's so much more fun to follow off a cliff.
Yeah. You just,
man, for real.
Man, you just told everyone a super secret strategy.
But they still won't do it, and they still won't be able to master it because they're gonna. Well, and again, you guys do more scalping. I hate having 30 pip stops because I think they get stop hunted all the time. You could teach people your system, and they'll screw it up no matter what.
Yes, I think the hardest part is for people to just stick to one thing. You know, as long as you can just stick to one thing, you're gonna have profitable returns. But the whole psychology is like everyone's in a rush to make that dollar that they just can't follow the rules.
It's our society right now. They have to have everything right now. There's no patience at all for anything.
Yeah.
Iron Man, do you have Instagram?
Yes.
What's your Instagram?
That's a really good question. I think it's Steelhead76. I'm not sure. I don't use Instagram that much. I think it's Steelhead76.
Do you have like a channel you post like your ideas and analysis?
Well, I'm going to go live here in about, when you guys are done, because I don't want to step on your guys' toes because you guys are totally cool, but I'm going to go live here in about 10 minutes and I can kind of explain my style on my YouTube channel, Iron Man Trading. So.
Oh, okay. I'll follow you there.
Okay, let me just
link.
I
don't want to step on, that's not the reason I'm here, and I don't want to step on your guys'
No, I know.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Trust me. Rakeel's not like that, bro. Rakeel
I don't care, Yeah, so I'm going to link your channel here.
Bitcoin traders are like that. You go into Bitcoin rooms and they just get all butthurt if you mention anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
See, the problem with that is that guys who run those channels, they are so, I mean, I don't know, it's more like they're very self-centered in a way that they don't want to listen to someone else's ideas. You know, and when they don't do that, they just box inside their own shell and they can't break out.
Well, I call them permabulls. They can't fathom that it could actually go down. But then you have this one guy that keeps making videos every day, and it's the same thing, saying it's going to $46,000 by the end of the year. And I say, what's your justification for that valuation? It's never been above 20. Trade reality.
Oh no, it's going to 100,000. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, I just don't see it in the charts. That's why.
Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Oh yeah, it's at 10,000 right now. Let's take a look at the weekly.
And it's not to say it can't happen, but I have to trade what I see. I have to trade history and stuff, and history tells me it's never been. I can make a better case for it being at 4,000 because it's been there before.
Yes. I mean,
but they just can't understand that.
For it to cross 20,000, Bitcoin is going to need a lot of good news for it to go above 19,000 and 20,000.
But in order for it to be universally accepted by the banks, because the banks don't accept it, right? In order for it to be universally accepted, it's going to have to be regulated.
Yes. Yeah.
And once it gets regulated, it loses its appeal of why it actually exists.
I agree with that 100%.
But don't tell them that.
oh no, this is the future. This is the future.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I still can't go to the bank and get a mortgage with Bitcoin, but I can go to the bank and they'll accept my gold. Hey, I'll be right back.
All right.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, Bitcoin is pretty fucking weird. I mean, I don't know, because if it gets regulated, the only thing that's like, the only reason that pushed Bitcoin up was because of its sacredness. Like they said, oh yeah, no one can touch it, no one can regulate it, no one can tax it. So that made Bitcoin just jump, you know. But once it gets regulated, like he's absolutely right, like it's going to lose its appeal of being anonymous. Like IRS now wants everyone's contacts who has Bitcoin holdings so that, you know, you can be taxed.
Yeah.
I think his channel is called Iron Man Trading. I think all you gotta do is just YouTube search Iron Man Trading. It's not that hard. Let me just try to search it here if I can find it.
That's it.
Oh, look, found it. Iron Man Trading. Wasn't so hard, was it? Man. You know, if someone has a name, you just search that name and chances are you're gonna find it.
Yeah, that's it. Iron Man Trading is the channel.
Yeah, we found it. Someone was having a hard time searching that up on YouTube, so I just did a little demo.
Yeah, I guarantee you, Rakeel, that person, he wasn't even looking. He wanted somebody to look for it up for him.
Lazy, yeah.
Like your post about that person, like, you know, like it's right there, bro. You know, like, come on, guys. All you gotta do is read or just like click.
But again, that's our society today. They would rather just listen to the nonsense than take 2 minutes to research something.
Yeah, you're right, bro.
That's what I do. A lot of politics too, and I just say it's like it's really easy to debunk most of the stuff these liberals are saying if you just actually do some research. But they don't want to do it because that would just debunk everything they're talking about. No, yeah. So it's Steelhead76 is my Instagram. This guy's saying Steel, but it's Iron Man Trading is the channel.
Steelhead76. Does that come from your mental toughness for holding trades?
No, I lived in a small town in Alaska for a while, and I owned a gas station there, and it's the best steelhead river in the world. I love fishing.
Oh. Oh yeah, Alaska. It's cold.
Do you do it for sport? Like, do you throw them back in the water or do you eat them?
Yeah. Well, steelhead you don't keep, but I salmon fish too, and I keep the salmon. But steelhead fish you don't.
Oh, okay.
You don't keep.
Good job, man. Good job.
That's the vegan question.
Yeah, that's a vegan, so don't mind him. Throw it back in the water.
But steelhead fishing is fun because it's a little small river, and I have a little 6-weight fly rod, and it's just they're like 20-pound steelhead, and they fight like crazy. It's just a lot of fun.
And you're probably catching fish left and right in that freaking river.
Oh yeah, it's almost every cast. It's almost not fishing.
Exactly. It's just like sticking your hand in there and they're all biting.
Yeah. See, and I'm big on those. If you look at oil right now on the 1 hour too, I'm big on those wicks or those tails, if you want to call them tails, those rejection tails. That's like one of my biggest strategies is those rejections.
On oil, is that U.S. oil?
Yeah. You have a nice tail forming on this 1 hour right now that went down to almost 57.35. And that pattern is about 80% accurate. If you reverse if that's a tail, then you reverse it to the other side and long, and it's about 80% accurate.
Do you trade copper as well?
I've never done copper. I did silver for the first time like a week and a half ago, but I've never done copper before now.
My friend is trading. He invested in gas, natural gas, and it's gone up because it's about to be winter.
Oh yeah.
This one, look at this one. I saw this guy. See? your shoes. You steal. Allah is my witness is mine. No, you steal from
All right, guys, I'm going to bail out. I'm going to do my live here in about 4 minutes, so I'm going to bail out. And
all right, sir.
put in mind, but hey, you guys are awesome.
All right. Come on once again, bro. Try to make it on again one time.
I'll recommend you guys all my people.
You don't have to.
I'll do some more subscriptions for you guys.
No, we want you back, bro. Just come back. Don't bring me back.
You guys have a good day. Be safe out there.
Later, brother.
We don't need more Republicans on the screen. Hey, I'm just playing.
You crazy Democrats. All right, have a good day, guys.
All right, buddy.
All right, what's this?
Hey, but for real, like, Coach and everybody, like, I don't believe in Democrats and Republicans and all that liberal, because I just feel like that's just another tactic for the government to diversify us, to like separate us. You know?
Very true.
I don't even understand what that means.
Think about it, like
I'm with you, Rakeel.
man.
Hey, we live in Canada. We're just cool with whoever comes in comes in the office.
That's right.
That's how I want to. Yeah, that's awesome with you. I love Canada.
We should go to Canada, Alex.
In the US, there's so much, like, you know, like, people are so devoted. Oh, he's a Republican. Oh, he's a Democrat.
Yeah, it's true though, man. People are diehard out here, brother.
They're
People
really
fight
diehard.
like fist fights and like use force, like when, like it's crazy in rallies and stuff.
Hey, who's still in gold?
I caught a good gold sell, bro.
Gold
I
is
waited till
weeing.
Did no one take that 15-minute retest?
I caught it.
Simon, I took it. Don't worry.
I'm watching gold go bounce around like a jackrabbit.
Yeah.
I have cells above that wick that just formed. I almost got stopped out. I was like 4 pips from getting stopped out, but I'm just holding because I closed the other positions on that initial drop. This is my long-term position. I'm going to try and hold.
Nice, Ted.
But it retested. It didn't make any sense though when you looked at the logic when it pulled up like that. I almost took more entries. Then I said, well, I already did 40 pips on those 2 positions, so I'll let this one run now. So hopefully this breaks. If it needs to break, I think it'll break at 9:30.
Yes.
I just flipped to the daily Ted and moved my stop loss to above the daily.
Yeah, I was looking to do that, but then I'm like way out of risk management. So
yeah, no, only on my bit running.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till this hour closes, and then I'll place my stop above the 4 hour.
Yeah.
EJ is also about to turn bearish here.
Don't be surprised if the new 1 hour candle comes up and retests that area again.
Yeah, it could retest 1490, but I got in at 1491.33, so
it probably will. The new 1 hour candle might. It's either going to push hard down or it's going to come up and retest 1490 area. That box again.
It's about to drop on
I'm
everything.
at 1490, so I'm hoping that we stay below. We stay in this area. If we can stay in this range, I'll be okay. But I'm hoping this.
There we go.
Drives down, which will.
There we go. Gold coming downtown.
I just don't like the way the 15-minute candle finished because it closed above the previous wick. So sometimes this wick will pull up and it'll fill that 15-minute candle and then pull back down. Yeah, which will then be the new hour candle essentially to fill the previous range. So I might get stopped out again. So we'll see.
GP Cat is dropping. EJ is dropping. GJ is dropping.
Yeah, EJ is dropping.
Oh, look at GJ.
GJ is dropping.
On 32.5.
That was going to stop right even. Yeah, stop.
Oh.
So I think we need to wait for 1 hour candle to close.
Yeah, the 15-minute candle is doing what I thought it was going to do. I hope it rejects it, but it's just the way that the previous 15-minute candle closed, where it closed bullish. We would have needed to close bearish, so this retest would be a valid one to push further down. I'm hoping that we do break it, but I mean, you can then argue that if this 30-minute candle forms that top wick, the next 15-minute candle will drive this 30-minute candle down. So that's what I'm banking on. And you can see on the 30-minute, we're tapping into an upper zone. So we just need this zone to hold. But that's where most people's entries were, so it's going to be very nasty.
Yep.
Because all you have to do is look at your 30-minute and then draw a zone where this current wick is, and you'll see exactly where we're tapping into. And there's a good potential that we could tap further up, create a wick, and then drive further down afterwards. So this might be one of those opportunities where if you do get stopped out, if you wait for the candles to flip again, you could probably get a better entry. Like, you know, if you're like, I'm in at 1490.50 or 1490.40. So if I get stopped, I'll look to see if I can get entries at 1492 again or 1493. But if it does start to drop below 1487, then we're safe.
Ted.
Yeah.
Did you see my post on Instagram about shoulders?
Oh yeah. I saw that. I was watching that. I'm actually doing shoulders today.
Yeah. So try to use those pins, and it will save you the data from blowing out.
Yeah. I'm gonna get stopped out again. Oh well.
So, Joe, you staying a little longer today?
Hey, what's going on?
You just queued the. So, you know, July, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I got stopped out and slipped.
Yeah,
Oh, got stopped out and slipped?
How come, man?
I had a 3-pip stop and it slipped me.
Oh.
Because that last 1 minute push, it sliced up and it just pushed right. I
Like
watched
really
it
hard.
too, and I was like, thanks.
Man, the new cat is flying.
Oh, you're broker, Ted.
Yeah, I know.
Unacceptable.
Wait, Ted, let me complain. Where's 10?
Yeah.
Oh, look at gold is taking souls.
It is actually.
Yeah, I needed
a 15-minute candle. I've seen that happen so many times with that 15-minute candle where we finish bullish with that huge wick, and that's just gonna get filled right away the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, look at the 1 hour now. Looks like crap.
Yeah. I mean, I got the but, oh well.
Ocean just flush.
Oh man.
I got some sales on UJ. Based on 1 hour. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so this move down could be like a fake out.
I doubt it.
But I guess this is the end of the road here.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, you
Let's
guys.
do to your left.
Let's stay for like 15, 20 more minutes.
Yay.
Hey.
I just gotta work, so. And my schedule changed. I get up 9:30 now.
Wait, you work nights, Bobby?
Yeah, I used to get up 9, like before 9. Now it's 9:30. By the time I get on again, the record's like, hey.
Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye. I'm like, oh, shit.
Man,
I go
old man.
I go home. That's so for like
Can GJ hit 132?
GJ was the good sales.
Oh, this daily has turned bearish. Damn. Hey.
Nice.
GJ could drop hard from here.
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
Will you take them sales at the top of this wick?
Yep. Because I know it's going to flush.
What do you look for these days, Kevin? Would you try and get like 5 pips, 10 pips, 6, 5?
Just 10 pips.
10.
I should break it out.
Kavan, you're saying the retest was at the top of this wick now? For gold?
Yeah, plus we're bearish, man. Like, I just think that was just a minor push up to go down lower.
All right, have a look on the 15-minute. It looks like
The dailies definitely look like it's rejecting.
Kavan signals.
Perfect retest.
Bottom signals are usually really good.
Yep.
And I kind of have the same sentiment. It's just really, I really shouldn't be trading it. I already took a loss.
It's not a loss if you don't have a stop loss.
No, it's not a loss if you haven't closed it.
Yeah.
If your trade's still open, you haven't lost anything.
Yeah. If you get margin called, did you really lose, or is your broker just salty? You know, it's just one of those things.
Oh damn.
I just see it going down, but
I remember, like, when I first started trading, I'd have like a small account, like $100 or something, £100, and I'd do like a really stupid trade, and it'd go like 500 pips against me and like fucking 70% total account drawdown, and in that moment I'd be like, yeah, if I go to sleep I'll wake up and it'll be a profit. You'd wake up and your account would be like -10. It's like
Yeah, that's true. Sleeping would be a good idea.
That's the whole trade method. If I sleep long enough, eventually the trade will go my way.
Yeah.
We were talking about this yesterday on Asian.
Wix, do you think gold is dropping hard now? Well, let's.
I don't think.
I think you need to close below 1489 for you to say gold's going to continue dropping, because this was support. 14.
Gold is taking soaks.
Just sell gold.
Yeah.
Just sell it.
Just sell it. Yeah.
Close your eyes, sell it.
Just sell it.
Yep. Don't worry about what happens. Just sell it.
What you've got to look at on the 1 hour, it is doing lower lows, lower highs. So
Ryan, don't worry, just sell it and go to sleep, man.
I'm already in a sell. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm gonna just hold and pray. I mean, my account can hold like a 100 pips drawdown, so I can go back all the way up to 1500. All the way around.
You can.
You do a 300 pip drawdown for a 5 pip gain. Be like, I got out.
Yeah. Why don't you invite him on the stream?
I got a question. Hey, Raja.
Mr. No Stop Loss.
Are you in anything?
Are you?
Are you in anything?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's on the. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh god, this is too charges.
It's funny, a lot of these questions that we get asked is experience in front of the charts, and nobody can answer those questions. You have to experience this information in front of the charts and understand what's happening in the market. The U.S. market just opened, the New York Stock Exchange, so you have to understand that there's an influx of volume coming in because people are hedging against equities. Once again, Forex is used to hedge against equities. You have to understand what Forex is used for. It's used to hedge equity positions. So if there's funds and institutions that are very heavily weighted with ETFs, mutual funds, things of that nature, with, say, the US dollar or with the pound, and those companies are taking hits, they'll then hedge with US currency pairs that correlate with that. So that's where we get the influx of volume at 9:30, because now as the market opens and people are adjusting their positions, people are also buying and selling FX to hedge those positions. You need to understand these simple principles when you're trading, and you need to understand how the session works that you're trading in. And if you don't come to this live stream, sit off for the next 6 months and study on your own, and then come, and you'll start to see the same thing. Because asking the same question every day is not going to get you anywhere. It honestly isn't, because what if tomorrow changes? And the question you asked today was invalid. You need to be able to apply principles to your trading. Trading is not solving a formula, which A plus B. It's not. You're applying variables and using those variables to give you an outcome based on certain models that you've seen throughout the last, say, 1 month, 6 months, and year of trading. I don't think anything about gold unless there's a chart.
So Ted, you're already in sales with gold, right?
Yep.
Okay, if gold, let's say, is gonna push to 1494 again, would you still consider to going on sales, and why?
Well, because today's daily candle means nothing to me. We already knew that it was a range, right? We have to finish the week. So the weekly candle has to finish off, and it'll finish off filling that zone because we've already tapped into that zone.
Okay.
Right? If you look at where we are on the weekly,
Ted, can you annotate the chart, please?
Give me a second here, sorry. So when you look at the weekly, and you can see right now where we're at, this weekly candle has already come into this zone here. So more than likely, we have to finish that zone off. That's what we're looking at right now on the weekly. So when you think about the candles and what's happening, they're finishing off the weekly positions. Today is a pullback for, because we're in the middle of the week. So this is what you had. You had this is your first zone here that we're currently in. This was the original zone that we tapped into. Remember we talked about this earlier this week? Yeah. And this is where all the orders came from the last couple of weeks to give us this tap down here. So you have to understand, once again, these orders over here have to finish off over here. So that's what we're looking at. So more than likely, this candle should finish all the way down. For whatever reason, the only way I see rejection is you'll see it on the Friday. You'll see a pullback, leaving that zone at that point. Right. So you have to understand now. If rakeel goes into the daily, if we go into the daily structure, you'll see exactly what's happening. This daily candle right now is sort of holding here, just like an exhaustion. Say, for example, if we're looking at, say, this candle over here as an example, we still have somewhat of a trend going down, and then we end up finishing that area. What's happening here is if we look at this candle, probably a better example. We have an uptrend, but that candle finishes bearish, but it doesn't change direction. So this candle over here is sort of doing the same thing that we have right now on today's candle, is it's holding this support area, and what you may find is you might find there's one more wick that taps up, and then this continues down to fill this area over here, or eventually fill to this area over here on the daily.
Oh, wow.
So that's what you're looking at this point, but we still have 2 more days left in the week, so there's still a lot of movement. Now keep in mind, this can change with information that comes out tomorrow with a lot of news reports.
Yeah, we have ECB tomorrow and CPI for USD.
So if there's instability globally, people could start to head to gold.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you, man. Because I don't like the way the 15-minute candles are closing on gold.
Oh yeah, of course. Once again, we hit a major support area on the smaller time frame, so it's going to be hard to break, but it's the same thing that happened yesterday. So what I'm doing is I'm erring on the side that this is probably going to float around and consolidate it here. Like right now, I'm like 4 pips in drawdown, right? So I'm okay with that. My stop loss right now is above this current 30-minute candle. So my idea is basically we should start to break down a bit, and if I see that we're not breaking down on the smaller time frames, what I'll do is I'll just close the position in a loss. That's not a big deal, but I do see us breaking down a bit more.
Yeah, like this 15-minute candle for the hour close is pretty key. If this hour closes below that like 1490 area, it should be good.
Yes.
If this 15-minute candle closes back up above there, and obviously the 1 hour candle, then I don't like sales yet.
as long as the hour closes lower than the wick of the last hour, then we're good.
As long as this hour closes what?
So you see the previous hour candle?
Whoa, whoa.
As long as the body of the candle closes lower than the wick of the last candle, we're good.
But if you look to the left again, no hour candle has closed below this zone yet.
Yeah, I see that.
So this 1 hour candle's got to do what those have failed to do.
I think for it to close anywhere lower than where it is now.
Yep. If it closes down below 49, it should be good.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Simon. It was kind of like at the area where Ted said, just sell gold. And it worked. Got 6 pips. And now it shall go more.
How much your gold?
So we wait for 30-minute time frame candle. No, Reef Chico, you create a plan and then you wait on what you want to wait. This is just educational ideas that we give here on the stream. Yes, Ted's gonna make me $500 today.
Yeah, so this is better.
Just need it a bit lower.
Yes.
Like if it closes like this, the next one should just curl down. But again, like
oh, it's dropping.
The next counter might do something like this.
Yes. Damn, Simon.
Or it's go straight down.
Simon wants me to stay now for another half hour. Shit.
Straight down. I prefer straight down, Simon.
Yeah, me too.
Let's draw a magic candle. Let's draw a magic candle. So we need a candle going something like this.
You need to close below that. But I think we're pretty good right now. So
like this.
It's nice where it's finishing.
Yeah, Rakeel, we're not really bothered about that top wick. You can get rid of that.
Okay. No wick.
No wick.
There we go.
Only the top one though.
I'm trying to put myself in a position where I can like hold this.
Oh, drop.
Break 1485.
Yeah. My entry was at 1489.65.
Oh, Rakeel got some entries. Nice.
Yes.
I still got one running at 1491.
I entered when Ted said, "Oh yeah, just sell gold," and the max drawdown was like 7 pips.
Yeah, mine is at 0.71.
So Kevin, will you just hold that till when?
I'll just adjust it. Like,
just keep moving your stop.
Yeah, I'll just keep moving my stop. I'm all about profit. I'm not giving shit back to the market.
Yeah, my stops are at break even here.
Dingy Jamaican.
Break even.
That's what got me this far, man.
Yes, put the stops at you, man. You don't even know.
I'm not rich as Ted to give 26 grand back to the market.
Drop in. Drop.
Come on, gold.
My stops are at break even here in gold because, as he said, don't want to give back anything you gain. The worst you can do is to let a profitable position go in negative. That's the worst.
But sometimes break even's annoying as well.
Yeah, man.
That's the thing.
Most of my trades end up in break even.
Really?
Yeah.
Break even with profit.
Yeah. Well, I still take commission.
Either take profit or stop loss.
Yes. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
My stop loss got high.
Oh, hopefully hit again. This is hilarious. Yep, done.
Yeah. Stop at break even.
I had 10 pips, gone down to 2.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, Ted, your position is at the bottom. You didn't add anything at the top.
Well, I had one. I just opened another position at 1490, and I just got stopped out again. So,
Stopped out or break even?
Break even.
Stopped out. Oh, there it goes all the way.
Now it's going
Honestly,
down.
I think people are watching our stream.
They're fine with us.
Yeah. Oh well, I tried.
We didn't even get the hour close yet.
No. Have to see at 10 o'clock how we finish.
Raja is trying to make a certain amount of money with an account that is small. Is that unrealistic? Yes. You should be focusing on percentage gains rather than trying to make a specific amount. Because let's say if you have a $500 account and you're trying to make $50, it's going to be pretty hard because you can lose $50 and that's going to be 10% loss. You know, so it's very important. If you have a small account, you just gotta just grind it. You just have to grind it out. For example, now this is a very out of line example, but like, you know, no one wants to grind out a small account. It's just the same way as no one wants to train legs in the gym, you know. But now I like training legs in the gym because I forced myself to do legs for 3 months straight, and now I like it. So once you start grinding it out for like 3-4 months, then you like the grind. Then you're actually excited to come through the charts and get that one move. What if GU closes support below support? Well, then it's closing below support, but it's right now it's closing above support, and then it's closing below support. So now it's closing in the range. So maybe this was your TP right here. Right there. No one likes training legs. I agree, man. I just can't wait to get rid of the leg day so that I can focus on more important muscles like the biceps and chest.
Well, my DJ is still on.
Oh, I guess I'm working overtime today. If this candle closed at 118.450, are gonna fill the previous candle. It'll fill this wick if this 1 hour can. Yeah. I mean that's the idea because it's bearish. It retested this area here, created a resistance. So it's theoretically it should continue down till, you know, where you have it marked 118.350 or even 400. Yeah, I think the best way to do legs is to just do squats and deadlifts. My mentor told me that he's a gorilla that squats and deadlifts. It's going to increase your testosterone, and he also told me not to have sex because then your
Oh, come on.
yeah, because then your lift goes up.
That's true.
So you gotta
I've
decide.
been celibate now for like 39, 40 days. I think 39 I'm on. Day 39 celibate.
Yeah.
And my strength has increased like ridiculously.
Yeah, you're either a boss in the gym or in the bed.
And there's nothing worse than training legs and then having a spasm whilst you're having sex.
As if someone's forcing you to have sex.
Your IG is Gorilla Strength Ltd.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna do that one.
Oh, I can come.
So I can get some tips.
Gorilla.
Yeah, semen retention is huge, man. Huge.
This one right here. Gorilla strength. Big T. How tall are you? 6'1"?
6 foot.
6 foot.
Holy monster.
Damn.
No.
Taller than Dad?
He's shorter than me. He's not a monster. What do you mean? Look at him.
Oh, too.
I didn't know you were that tall.
Sean, he's a big guy.
No, I really think you're a beast.
Damn, look at his...
That is like 6'3", 6'4".
Ooh. That is some strength right there. Why do you have 40 new pairs of trainers?
You want to see my reply? My reply is hilarious, I think.
Won a BBW championship, won by 39 pairs of UK trainer. Ooh, who's Sammy Sepp? She's verified. Must be important, like Sean Lee.
Oh.
Goals. Oh.
Damn, you should have shot your shot right there.
Jeez.
That's pretty sexy.
Fake out on gold.
Oh shit! I saw this girl in Vegas last time.
She's got better abs than Big T.
Yeah, she's sexy. I wouldn't mind getting inside her abs.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Wow, that looks great. Is this a bot comment? I think it's like
yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Wow, that looks great. Like, who says that?
I think they just do. They run those accounts like bots to just get more, more exposure.
That's kind of like the comment I give when people send me charts. I'm like, oh, that looks great. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, gold is bitch.
Power is it? Support.
No wonder EJ's going down.
Ooh. Gold is pumping. See, look at the candles. No candle closed bearish.
Yeah,
man. The first 15-minute candle were bullish, so that's why.
Yeah, I think this move down was a fake. I wonder how many people really got fucked up over there.
I took a loss today. I wasn't gonna trade, but it looked good.
Yeah, I took a loss too.
Took a loss as well.
Took a loss too today.
And I told myself I wasn't trading, but when everybody's in, gold, you get antsy, and it looks really good too.
I just said sell gold. I didn't tell anyone where to put your stop loss.
Oh, I saw it.
We weren't still in. I mean, that's not going to stop me. 1600. I'm still in. Don't worry.
I sold off momentum.
Usually Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday moved really nice. Today was a massive day.
Well, today is 9/11 too, bro. Like, the U.S. I think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're taking fucking hours of silence here. Usually take a minute of silence.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's going on. Wow, look at UJ, just garbage. This CPI tomorrow too, so maybe.
Oh, look at gold filling that wick now. On the 4-0.
Oh, look at
what a wick.
Yeah, I'm off. Take care, everybody.
Alright, Rakeel, take care, man. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, thank you guys.